As we know today, FPX, they're coming in with their full roster, and it kind of feels like there's an obvious map that you would remove from them, Tom.
Well, they've been banning Bind almost every single time, so logically they've banned Haven. I'm not really going to understand why. I guess last time they played against Guild, it was the closest of the maps. Guild, though, banning Fracture, though, is also very interesting.
Yeah, it has been a good one for them in the past. It is solid for FPX, so I don't hate that. Ascent will come out as our first pick. I think this is a really good one for FPX. They've been showing their dominance here in the past, and for Guild, they had a really rough game on Ascent versus Paper X.
Now, most of the time with Guild, I feel like they pick counters. I feel like that's almost every single time. It's
teams, really.
Something that they're trying to break down within the opposing team. And going into Breeze, actually, I think they picked a relatively strong map for FPX with their Yoru composition, which I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to. But if Guild have picked it, it's almost definitely because they feel like that counter is there.
And
yeah,
both of them have let Bind through at this point. Where is Bind going to end up?
I was expecting it to get banned. It felt like it was kind of Bind chicken. Neither of these teams are huge on playing that map. I was expecting one to ban it, so it actually ends up as the decider, which is a weird one because for both these teams, it's been a little bit, and it's not too often we get to see that. I'm wondering if maybe one of them had something prepped up, but my read is more that it was probably just no one wanted to commit their ban to the map that was bad for both teams.
Yeah, it almost feels like, for me at least, FPX won this veto hands down. Like, I would say that, at least within EMEA, they were probably the best Ascent team. I don't think anybody's really come close to them there. Their Breeze was the most innovative of any team, and one that I think, okay, it kind of got beaten by Mech when they played well, but that's just Mech. So, I don't know. I'm not confident going into this for Guild, but they're normally the series that Guild win. Like every time they don't look, I'm like, and then they win.
Yeah. They're probably going to prove you wrong today. I'll let you sit on that for a few minutes because we're going to go to a break right now. But when we come back, we're going to be meeting both of those teams on stage.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he's had a quote, it's easier to IGL when you're dead, so play from the front. I'm hoping
that is true.
that maybe he'll move away from that mentality.
Well, we're into the Prime Gaming Agent Select here, of course. So Agetsu is back. He is, however, expected to play the Sage here. We're not really expecting them to deviate from that.
Yeah, and already it looks like Guild will be returning to that composition. We saw them debut so long as Trex locked in that radius, which is the decision. They've had a little bit of time since that matchup, so maybe cooking up something better, fixing the issues. I think stylistically this comp does work pretty well against a more defensive FPX.
Yeah, I think the other thing as well is you're not playing against Paper X anymore, which that's always going to be one of the issues.
Just playing a different game
the Paper X have amazing setups that basically just use Jing to kill everyone. Now, there isn't a Jing on the other side, so I think they might have a slightly better chance.
There's not a Jing on the other side, but there are a few people I think might be able to stop them from the other side. And with that said, it's time for us to jump into game and throw this over to your casters for today. It's Pansy and Hypok.
Woo! Thank you very much, Tom, with a little woo. That was good. Hitting those notes, real nice. And let's talk about what this is. Guild are at the gates of the FPX stronghold on this map. Mike, you see this veto, you see that map come up. It's a stronghold for a reason.
It is, and I actually tend to agree with Tom with what he said. This veto doesn't actually feel very comfortable for Guild, but it's just in this series, actually, it's almost like better the devil you know, right? Lots of pressure here coming through to Copenhagen, but actually a familiar opponent for both teams. And actually that's important as well, was to get to slipping back into this in terms of FPX getting back to those comfort zones.
And that's something I want to look at here, because this is one of the maps that really does characterize this team as a whole, and already, hold on, Trex is just quick to work. As a little look around, but not finding too much as it stands, because as we can note here, FPX other side of the map.
They found themselves free access to a site here. To get to, don't want to plant it. Artist actually got 2 members in spawn. We'll find the first save for Trex, the second one though, for the trade.
Yeah, lovely trade that. And it should ring the alarm bells that that flank has got some weight to it, some value to it, as Trex has actually found Shao as well. Angel, loved his frag movie as of late. Might be on for another. And we're going to go down to Leo. Now just 2, Zipan and Sugetsu. Some heavy hits as though still standing, so don't put him out of it just yet. A 2v3. That's lovely. Sugetsu holding the push from just on top of the wall. Noted the drop, but it is all Sugetsu. And welcome to the stage. Russ is the one to claim it. And we'll be the one to get the defuse.
A very proactive pistol round here with no member of Guild whatsoever, even entertaining the possibility. It was invested to get through B main control and tiles. And they achieved that. It was argue FPX a little slow to react, call it, but it was a window of opportunity to take a little deeper control of a site. They end up walling off tree and not banking on getting any further control. And no knowledge of the minimap there, but they'll get themselves on the map. Couple of sheriffs invested here. Obviously the headhunter for Ardis. Call it a Shiko. See what they can get done. In this scenario, Artis has almost done his job here, being aware of the possibility that they have this deeper control already, or information on the map, but lots of bodies behind that, as we saw. Track's good for the trade on that one.
So again, if you're just tuning in, FPX starting on the attacking side, and of course means Guild will be on the defending side. Bit of a trade to start with. Zip, I'm going to find Trex. So expectations when we come in this, it would be an FPX favoured matchup if you go off historical results and all the other business, especially in this map. But again, you know, this environment can change things. I think we've seen glimpses of what Guild could be, but then also bear in mind, I think Guild, leading up towards the end of their regular season to get here, was in formidable form. Yes, they lost to, I think it's Fnatic and FPX, but even...
They slowed down a little bit, but it wasn't a lack of form towards the end. I think you're absolutely correct on that.
And they're one of the teams that can really learn on the fly. They are hard workers. There's a reason we call Coldamenta the Kingmaker. The guy is very good at putting in the hard work. Get the job done, but this is doing some damage here. This is actually a little bit worrying. Now, again, think about what the relay of information from Xiao might be here, because he's gone pretty deep towards B and seen nothing.
I think Safe's just spotted him on the cross, actually.
I'm seeing the fallback from Coldamenta. Yep, there it is. Wide check on it. A bit dangerous there. Careful now. Coldamenta's on 5. Safe should shut that door.
30 seconds
but again, this is a really awkward situation. You've got 25 seconds. You need someone to make a bit of a move here, and Artis is going to have to shoulder that burden. One up top should go down. Doesn't! That's a shocker in the end. I thought that was really kind of wrapped up Coldamenta being so low, but they stabilized just at the end.
And Xiao actually finds the headshot to Coldamenta there, leaves him on 5 HP. Unfortunate not to get the follow-up tag. But damage done. 3 survive, though. Got a good shot here at the bonus round. Actually, light shields are the byproduct of those sheriff investments here for FPX. 4 light shields in total. Just to prioritize some of this utility. Actually, Guild might be getting a little feisty towards tiles once again. FPX, similar to the pistol round, set up towards top mid in A lobby.
Yeah, very actually similar look. You can see the full intent behind it, but as we've noted and saw in that first round, FPX are heavily tailoring towards that A site.
But we'll see this time if they do actually opt to take any deeper control, if it's just a site hold once again that Wall actually dealt with very early before the door even comes down here. So no real comfort here, and Guild stacked up pretty early on in this retake. That's a dirty one-way for Sugetsu to sit inside on top of the wall, though.
That's really quite nasty. We'll be able to see them as they walk through, if anyone dared to go for it, which at this point we know it's really just buying time because no one is going to risk that. Utility now invested, they do need to start making the move. Actually, Sugetsu almost lost that angle, and he actually has. Max Coldamenta with him, and effective trades now finally fall into place for Guild.
Hang on.
Zipan. Turning the tables. Safe now. Trying to hold on to this. Risky.
Ton of damage done, though. I mean, way too many fall in the fray. Initially, it looked like Guild were almost going to have a lot of success there. With Sugetsu giving up that angle on top of the wall, I think maybe just getting a little hesitant.
But again, this is something that we have to talk about as well. When we talk about Sugetsu, this is his first step on the stage, and yeah, I know,
it's an elimination game.
Elim game.
Yeah.
A lot of players have felt that first game pressure, just trying to find comfort, right? And some players have had a couple of shots at it and didn't find comfort. One of them was actually Russ, who, of course, stepping into this game, you've got to be hoping he feels the game out a little bit here.
Yeah, for sure. And there are some interesting matchups here. We talk about returning to comfort zones, and now Angel being able to commit a little more to maybe leaning on those first engagements. But I think that lurk role is so impactful on around FPX. Actually, the back of the null command, going to try and burst through market here.
What a pace change. This isn't looking like FPX at all. Normally it's very considered, very cautious, very careful. Slowed down finally, and they have to see what these two players on site can do. Supplemented and complemented from CT by Trex. And so far a 1-for-1 trade out. Leo's still holding the ground, and Trex trying to bail him out just a little. That paint shell could have done some damage. Just going to force the hand of FPX, and there's the fight. Leo and Trex in combination, but Xiao on the other side. This map is one of his greatest to watch, but it is a 2v2. Spike now being planted. The two players, Coldamenta and Safe, having to work it back in.
Utility to work with here. 10 seconds away from another smoke to slow things down for Angel. Already Coldamenta and Safe very close up on this retake.
Anything to propel this forward. Safe for that little bit of contact towards the backside by Angel. Angel looking for the swing, but it's Xiao to connect. That's 3 this round already. Is Safe now the 1v2. Oh, looking so good here, and I think forced away. Noting this one's pretty much sewn up, and FPX, a little pace change here, a little gear shift coming out.
A pace change, yes, but they almost just freeze outside the site. I'm not sure if it was just the smoke. I mean, fantastic usage of Cold Dementor's utility to really slow down that hit, but even a couple of seconds after that, FPX almost seemed like are we hitting the site? Like, what's the decision here? So a little hesitant, and usually when you do see FPX pick the pace up a little bit, it's usually pretty invested. It's all in.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if that was a respect to the utility or just having to kind of hit the brakes there. Stopping for a second to see if anyone's willing to push through, you know, anyone going to make a mistake on this. Again, I doubt anyone's going to explore from the back of that B site. So, curious, but it works out in the end. And this is one where I want to just keep eyes towards Xiao. That fade in his hands has been formidable leading up to this point. One of those really key components of making it a mainstay, at least in EMEA. Now, the buy coming out here for Guild is rough. It's a little weird. Frenzies. How do you feel about Frenzy?
I mean, at this event, put one in the hands of Crashies and you see what
Rifle.
happens. Yeah,
it's a mini rifle,
effectively.
Yeah.
Over the Stinger, for sure.
Absolutely.
But who was it? Was popping the null? Was it somebody on Leviathan?
I think
just
it
made the Stinger look like a rifle.
Really viable. It was like, yours is different to mine.
Lothar somewhere just smiling. FPX actually in a decent position here to get some of these ultimates in line for the next buy round.
One different look of pace though from that last round. Such a stark contrast. Taking their time on approach, Angel clearing, but again, relatively committed. This has to be a little cautious. Draws out the information of, okay, there's a frenzy. It's not massive yet.
I think also they've got to make the consideration. They're almost looking for this rifle in the hands of Safe. Trying to find themselves an engagement towards maybe a forced SMG or these pistols, as already noted. Their sights set towards B initially.
You wanted to lurk. You might be getting it pretty soon. Let's see what Angel can do with that in a moment. Just had to face it as it just rockets towards you. Trek's going to remove Zipan from this. Sugetsu desperate for a pixel to show, but Leo's giving nothing away. The spam's really good. Look at the HP now. Leo, Trek's pretty low in this. Artist isolating Trex. Actually pushing a little deeper towards CT, but swings back towards the site, noting another quick shot towards Leo. And that rifle never really had much of a say in things here. Safe, how much more can you do? The position could be dirty, but the plant going to come in now. Managing to dodge this and still have time to work forward. To be big. That could, Sugetsu, what a time to turn around.
The bait is
beautiful.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Angel just throws a couple of footsteps towards lane, forces that peek out from Safe. Sugetsu managed to tuck himself in on the back of that paranoia. Beautifully done. See now, Tour de Force online. Arda's got a decent buffer here. And Sugetsu just commands so much of this site from that position. Unable to really deal with it. It's good to see Sugetsu at least looking sharp in some of these situations early on.
Even
actually leading the scoreboard,
yeah.
Yes, but...
Good to see. Find that comfort as fast as you can.
Let's play.
You heard it. Ult's out for Ardis. One of those who's making a bit of a case to be a Lanimal. Looking good since he's stepped into this competition. And a very swift rotation from Guild here.
Safe, happy to try and re-explore. Xiao actually posted up. Ready for that.
Nasty little off angle.
The other way, Guild preemptively have initially sent 4. Russ now has to come back. Pick up the slack in mid, but Angel finds another pick, and FPX able to just find these engagements for free, seemingly.
Yeah, Guild
or just solo picks.
Drifting out. This is not great, but that flash was Leo set up for success, but a good trade for Artist to facilitate the cross. Spike is left by Tree, though. And Russ could do some damage here, but again, a quiet performance so far. Easy, light work for Artist. Silky in this round. And 3 stand for FPX, trying to really carve away a lead here. I
mean, initially there, like I said, 2 just completely dry engagements coming out from Guild and finally trying to set something up. Leo with a perfect timing on that flash coming through on the back of Russ, actually. Doesn't amount to anything, though, FPX. 2 rounds ahead. Guild back down on a shaky purchase. Safe does have the tour de force. See actually where he's going to post up. TP set between Pizza and maybe back towards spawn here, yeah.
And it will be unpaused soon, so it's fine. But so far, has it held true to your expectations? I think is the easiest way to ask this question.
I don't think we've seen enough of this map yet, and again, for Sugetsu slotting into this, I don't think we've seen enough of Well, at least being tested in some of these rounds to get to particularly impactful on the defense as well. Really way we look to it, but hold that thought for a moment because FPX going to force their way onto A site here. Russ will be spotted out, tries to drift into the smoke. Oh, it's good for the first. Everyone blinded up here, but FPX finally get their way through main. The door will be closed.
These swift anti-ecos in a couple of these rounds, the pace change from FPX is pretty blistering. Now, any damage that can come out of this will be curious. There are a couple of players, and Safe is the one who could do serious damage here. Dangerous now. Investment of utility just to slow the roll. Xiao on the site. And you can see them just being locked down. Zipan already finding Leo. Trex has been noted. And again, you're waiting to see if that maybe damage from Safe had come through, and it just hasn't.
Tagged up down to 5 HP. Trex got lots of problems to deal with.
There's just no way in.
No. A consolation maybe here, but the economy already rolling for FPX. Will make an awful lot of difference. I guess who tries to slip back, but just get caught in the slow field. So we'll do a little bit of damage here.
Teleport's ready.
FPX find their 5th. This is the problem really here. That I mean, the next buy round becomes a little concerning if Gilda can concede once again, almost expecting a timeout to come through.
Yeah,
actually seeing it just pop up now, yeah, because this one is important in terms of the outcome of the rest of this half.
And this is where you want, you know, Barbar Cam to come on in. I want to see what this guy's up to. Animated as ever. Probably, and curiously enough, outside of Angel, probably has the most LAN experience on the stage right now. Out of everyone. Barbar certainly knows how to try and bring out the best in these boys. Stabilize
Angel's probably got as much LAN experience as the other 9 players combined.
Literally.
You'd probably are.
Add him up. Add him up.
It's not an age thing. It's not.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But again, I think Barbar does need to play an integral role in this. Yes, if you're being realistic and you are a Guild or a Guild fan, you look at your odds in this map, it's not likely, but I want to see a better attempt.
For sure, but it comes back to that better devil you know, right? This is the team that actually regionally target set on both of these teams' backs in, you could argue, in some regard.
Hands down.
It's whether or not Guild are able to execute that. So the minute, I mean, you think back to that sloppy buy round where kind of swinging out and giving away 2 picks.
Yeah,
and
drifting into no man's land. That was, I don't know what the misread was, because
you got to assume if there's no contact found in the first 20 seconds versus FPX, they've shift walked up towards the site.
Yeah.
They're close
It's
on
FPX.
catwalk. They're outside A main. They have control and they're happy with that.
Yeah. Maybe just a little reminder of this. You know, it is FPX. You know how they play, and it's one of those matchups now. They have to be aware of each other stylistically. So we go back in. Operator out for Safe, and this is the buy that has to do something to slow this down. And once again, it looks relatively all in from FPX.
They've actually noted 3 inside tree. And that's almost going to give them an indication nobody's on site. There's no way that there's a 4th stack. Russ actually picks up Ardis and that lurk on short. Site control will be in favor of FPX. He's going to get the null command off this plant as well, Lauren.
And instantly invests it. Tries to remove any of that utility away for the retake.
It's going to burn up a lot of time.
Yeah, make it so much more difficult. And hopefully with that in mind, FPX just don't give options for Guild. Don't make it easy for them. There we go.
Want to slow it down.
This is huge. They are just layering time right now. Yes, there is a trade out. Zipan did find Golden Mentor though. And the spam comes out. Xiao. Nasty work. Angel finds Russ trying to work through on tree. And now it's the players trying to drop on down. Safe and Leo. Careful now, don't stack up because they are dangerous players at Angel.
Angel?
What are you doing?
Caught in no man's land there as soon as the smoke drops, but how the other 2 went in favor of Guild, I'll never know. What a fumble.
Roll this back, because again, I got a little worried when they get a little stacked up, when they got a little close, but they weren't. It was that tuck towards Doc. I didn't think it was a problem, but apparently so. An Angel just...
Yeah, a strange one to watch back.
As said, one of the most experienced players. Seeing him caught short, not ideal, but regardless, for Guilds, you'll take it with both hands, right? Like, the amount of time that was invested.
I mean, Xiao's done well as well to use off the reveal to find a wallbang through from Hell.
Yep.
It's like FPX feel like they've got something to try and exploit here. Looking pacey once again. Angel actually going to try and keep you back Gen, but denied by Leo initially. FPX now will retreat away from this. No real control elsewhere. Sugetsu, as I say, just now coming back towards B main, might catch Russ.
Here.
With no follow through towards 8. Got to assume he's going to try and play his life here.
I want to see how Guild read this, because we haven't really seen FPX when they've gone for those more all-in pieces being held at the door. So what's that level of adaptation? Nice amount of information found for us there too. Noted. Should be quite telling. Curious to see if Coldamenta starts hitting that lean back towards B potentially, or if they're satisfied with him being kind of top mid. A little bit of a touch towards Tree. A lot of pressure on Russ now. And there's that watch going up mid. Leaving in the hands of Safe, and he collects one. That's Angel now gone. Divide can be committed, and the rest comes out. Angel back on his feet, and Safe with a deeper angle. Connects well. Spike now noted. Rotations on the way. FPX not having the entry they wanted. Nice shot from Artist back towards Russ, but there is still players here. Trex has slipped towards the site as well.
Actually, if they can catch Leo, make this even easier on the way back in, but the ultimate invested here, going to cut all sound.
And that's
Safe
the Spike.
And Leo both find it.
Spike deep in CT.
10 seconds left.
You've got 8 seconds to do something with this. And Angel's going to do nothing. Safe with a stun up. Lovely round from him. Very composed, falling back, buying more and more time.
Again, the initial problem being this, the utility invested towards A main at the start, and FPX then turn around. They have nothing to flash away from Safe. They almost have to shift, walk up, taking contact against Safe's operator. He's rewarded for initially the first, draws out the res, finds the second. It's exactly the scenario I'm here. It's Angel, the front runner here for FPX.
Perfect.
10 seconds
Very
left.
bizarre to watch some of these. Like I said, it's another situation where FPX almost get themselves on the brink of sight, and there's this moment's hesitation.
Yes, man.
Can I just get those comms the whole time, if you don't mind?
Just pump that.
It gets people going. Like, bring it on. Yeah, it's quite interesting to kind of re-examine my expectations of FPX, because let's say we saw a couple of these rounds in the EMEA run up to this, I would have been baffled, right? But again, they have had to, they brought Insider, brought him into the process, had to kind of change things around with that. You've got Sugetsu now coming back in. Okay, shuffle again. This is still the first time we've really got to see FPX in these environments, so I have to manage my expectations in that regard, because some of these rounds are very uncharacteristic for them.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. This isn't one that, I mean, particularly on the attacking side of it, statistically, it's not one they usually over-deliver. Usually averaging pretty much 6 or 7. It's not really a massive surprise in that regard. So it came down to that buy round that ultimately could have defined the entirety of this half, but you have kept it within touch and distance. Yeah, utility exchange, and Angel falls first.
And Safe's having a really nice little heater of a game here.
Right, he was under a lot of pressure early on towards mid as well, which is why I think we saw that pace change towards 8. The noting Safe being present in market, maybe a B main peak here and there.
Bomb buddy out.
Who's rewarded this time around.
See the lean starting to begin. Leo sat towards CT.
Rifle in the hands of Shout. See if we can get anything done with it. Obviously, Sheriffs to complement that, as well as Ardis on a headhunter.
Kind of deep there sitting as well. You're starting to see that Safe is exploring us. I just hope we don't see that weird drifting that we saw before, but no, Safe playing this really nicely. Understanding the tempo of the game so far. Tucked towards Dice and just making FPX work for it. It's a...
Nearly finds the readjust there onto Zipan.
That was very, very close. But you could see the reads really quite good here. Guild are looking very composed, sitting nice and deep, not allowing any of the wants or desires that FPX would have had for that round.
Yeah, much cleaner approach to this anti-eco than a few of these others we've seen. Actually tie things up here as we enter round 11 with a prime game in Flawless. It's interesting here again, once this, you feel like the confidence is there for Guild, and whether or not they do start to follow through on this proactive use of utility in the early rounds.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys. 7-5. Come on. Yeah.
Safe had to go down. I mean, Leo and Safe, respectively, on 13 kills right now. Really doing the heavy lifting here for Guild.
Yeah, it's Trex with a committed push this time. Flashed off the angle and forced to respect it, but I quite like the way they're going exploring a little now. Trying to find layers to this. Yeah, it's not just on one side, you're right, it's on the other.
Sugetsu.
Sugetsu quick to it. Safe getting punished on the exploration mission, and that will prove to be a problem now.
It definitely is problematic, because Coldamenta, I mean, even more so now, because he's drifting ahead of this trap that, once they falls, you got to say it's his job to hold on to mid here, and gives away the first. Leo falls in quick succession.
Desperate to try and equalize.
Yeah.
You could see him just trying to bring it back to that 4v4, and someone like FPX will almost hit the brakes and look for that. They'll try and find that. Want an exploration to take back space in the map. Not going to be allowed now. Russ, he's had a bit of a nightmare run so far. Could do with a little bit of a confidence boost to farming, but Sugetsu's had enough of that. FPX get themselves back on track. A clean enough round, but I've got to say, a couple of mistakes there.
Yeah, I almost feel like the expectation on Guild's part is they find this pick, they will drift back towards mid or towards Cat, and that's where the pressure's coming from. Coldamenta basically playing to cut off that tile rotation, but yeah, it's just way too risky. Especially with no extra rotation coming across the back market. Leo is a little off pace in that regard.
Sure. I would say as well, when you consider when these two have met, one thing to know is what's on the line and how much people were showing at that point. Because it was a very different time when these two last met. And no one was putting everything out there. So again, it does kind of skew a little. And again, they're walking mid. This is relentless. A little offset on the timing now, 120, but Zipan also aware. Decimates too, with the flash to follow. Guild in trouble now. They've gone on these exploration missions, and the aggression does not work against FPX like this.
No, Track's got it all to do now. It does have the showstopper to slow things down, but it's only a 1-for-1. So get
Not
to
enough.
find it here, and no teammates with him initially, but
It is the heavy hitters though, right? You got Leo, you got Safe. But up against 4, it's a tall task. Got to start somewhere. Spike gonna go down for FPX. And Sugetsu just makes his appearance. Quickly traded for Leo now, the 1v3, and as you can see, investment upon investment to deny this man any chance of this. Looking for that first opportunity. Any pixel that will show any player not in position. Trying to thread that needle, spots another. Artis is done with it. And FPX stabilized towards the end of the half, but this was quite back and forth actually for a scoreline that we're sat at. This is not a commanding lead for either side.
no, as I said, you look at the numbers here, it's not a massive surprise on either side, but it's just the nature of some of these rounds where Guild have demonstrated that just solid composure in certain scenarios. Here I'm seeing mistakes that aren't typically seen on the side of Guild, I've got to say.
Yeah, we do have to remind ourselves this is an elimination game, so again, these players are probably quite nervous. They're trying to get that feel of the stage. And let's get the thoughts of the desk. This does come back to what you were saying at the start of this, though, better the devil you know, and I still agree with this. We know that Guild are, they're essentially doomsday preppers at this point. They're in their bunker, they got some beans chilling out. Like, these boys will do the hard work, and I across the map pool, I still say that FPX would have had the upper hand, so why not try and take it somewhere that you can be at least prepared on?
See what the approach is here for the pistol round. But particularly in this half, and I'm with Tom, it's not necessarily blown me away in terms of Sugetsu's performance in the first half, but particularly here on Ascent, keep your eyes on how he's able to deny some of this early space and what FPX achieve on the back of it. Wall up here, actually saving it to maybe slow things down as the hit comes through. That's just that. Now FPX will anticipate this rotation away. Seemingly a little off pace here. Danger and Xiao tasked to try and shut this down ahead of time.
Ooh, sloppy work from Angel. Did not find the clean shot at all, and it's great trades. Russ with 2 and the site looking open. There's still one here. That's Xiao. Xiao still stands, but only for a moment. Now, look at what's remaining, a 2v2. They're quite far away. This should be a safe plant. You're going to have, what, Sugetsu on the kind of wrap. Zipan's got to be a little careful further ahead, but will be able to kind of pause for thought. Flashing out Sugetsu. You're not going to put that knife down towards the side.
Good info on both as well.
But do they expect Leo by that close box? I'm curious to see if they clear this effectively. I feel like they will. Swing from back of Bowhouse, but actually no, Zipan actually didn't clear it effectively. Gives him a chance!
He still gets it.
Oh, Sugetsu, that's the magic right there. I thought that was Coldamenta's every day of the week.
I mean, he eats the headshot with the frenzy. It's almost like Coldamenta's expecting that to be enough, but Sugetsu snaps on with the headshot. Clutches out the pistol round here for FPX. Beautiful stuff in the end of it. Again, a little weird to see just the hesitation. To see the hesitation here, and particularly seeing Angel and Xiao still happy to play close contact when they've got to be anticipating that pivot away as soon as the wall's invested on tree. Guild will throw in a couple of sheriffs here. Light armor for safe to try and get something done with that headhunter. Oh, there's actually Fantasy's chances with the Spectre there, but we'll dip away. Some information gathered at least. Actually picks up information here with the jump spot. Safe happy to try and take the duel though.
Nice edge. Oh, this timing. Takes a step, forces them back. And Zipan wants to try and make the most of it, but they scurry away, fleeing instantly. Sugetsu doubling down though. He feverish for the pickup on it. It's a bit scrappy. They're making them work for their dinner here, Guild.
A little bit of chip damage, but Sugetsu going to heal up Ardis. We'll be able to post up here with the headhunter, at least gets a tag away. But actually, Safe and Coldamenta will respond. Brings it to a 3v2. No upgrades just yet, so Stu just 2 sheriffs to work with here. That wall does drop in B main, but Xiao already in position to pick up the slack.
30 seconds left.
Angel, oh,
Right there.
the barrel just gets spotted there. Angel's going to find both headshots.
Yep.
We'll clean things up here. FPX to 9. 3 survive as well, 2 rifles. 4 on the Bulldog and the Guardian. And a very good opportunity here for FPX to put some pressure, some further pressure onto the economy of Guild. Coldamenta decent ultimate progress so far, 1 away from the Cosmic Divide, but not necessarily a playmaker within this composition.
This is, I feel like one of those rounds that will define if this is actually a close game or not, though. Wait and see how this unfolds, and I want this to be a good round coming through. The early exploration. Ardis has got a little bit of curiosity starting to build off of Cat, but you can see that on the other side of things, Guild not necessarily overly committing anywhere, showing a little bit of presence, but nothing too much to write home about.
Bring them down.
So I guess you're considering this wall. Well, a couple of shaky moments, but Angel sharp there. We'll find Safe and actually force out this rotation, and with no pressure behind this wall, FPX have a perfect read on where Guild are going to end up.
This has to be critical work from Ardis. That's a shot.
That's the key engagement here in this
Massive.
scenario.
Massive work.
Takes away the smokes.
Site's still so vulnerable though. Track's gonna try and get that spike across and get the plant down. Door's gonna be ripped off the hinges pretty soon. And a 5v3, this is not comfortable at all though. You almost have to be proactive a little in this post plant, and Ardis has already found Trex. This is huge work from Ardis. Finally gets put to bed, but Russ isolates one towards heaven. But it is just Russ, and he's gone down. This is really comfy work now for FPX. It got a little worrying at times, but the impact Ardis had instantly quelled it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that still felt pretty comfortable. Coldamenta's way over-invested in that lurk. A little further forward than you want to see him, ahead of contact being found in A main. Like I said, as soon as that comes through, FPX just, it's step 2 on the protocol list. The wall goes up, there's nobody shooting it, there's nobody pressuring behind it, no steps away from it. They have a huge advantage in terms of the timing. This position here, Coldamenta actually, I think, just inside his astral form as the smoke drops. Like I said, just a little over-invested there in terms of the positioning.
Well done, boys. Clean. To be honest,
Has to play a little deeper, and like I said, behind the contact. As soon as that execution comes through, A-main, Coldamenta can show his hand. The smokes are up. He knows he has the benefit of that timing.
It's the knock-on effect of purchase so shaky now. There's going to be 11 probably beckoning. FPX close to doing what they needed. A good game to get things underway with Sugetsu back with the boys. Go with a pacey piece up towards middle though. Safe happy to take a little bit more space. And so far, so good. Shot and a half, and actually a fumble from Sugetsu gets a little overzealous. And Guild actually get the punish on 3. It should have been this way.
Problem being, I don't think they expect Xiao to have the information that nobody's pushing behind these picks, so Zipan actually does hold on to A main. Gonna try and stand his ground here.
It's got to be like 3 kills though. The first one goes in, Trex takes the site, Zipan waits patiently, strikes but the trade. Good work from Trex to double check. Xiao pretty far from this in a 1v4. Yes, they're on weaker weapons, they've still got a bit of light armor here. It's certainly not an easy round to convert.
Spike planted.
Xiao do, anyone out of position? No one giving him that first fight. There's the contact and there's the beheading. It was swift. Backs away, saves the HP, keeps it clear enough. No one trying to aggress yet from the tree. There's the spot and there's the kill.
Sure.
Xiao now in a 1v2. He's got still, he's got to the side. He knows where they both are. This is getting dangerous. Trex just about keeps it in check because that was a second away.
Thank God, Trex keeps it in check. There's not even a comfortable engagement there. Almost caught off guard, desperate to try and reposition and find that 2v1 engagement. But damn, Xiao made it interesting. A couple of beautiful shots here to open things up for Guild as well. First coming through onto Angel in the second. Actually, Sugetsu trying to get behind that pressure in mid on top of the wall. You can see here, just, yeah, not a comfortable engagement there. It's almost like a sigh of relief to close things out there.
Trex, he's going to try to pick this pace up, sends it. An Angel playing catch. Now we know that there's still another player here. We know that Zipan was around, but he's taking the time to go up towards heaven. Had to dip out from tree. A little too hot over there. Spike going to go down, and Guild finding a little bit of room to work. Partially off the back of Trex trying to take space, but he's a player that we need to see make impact here. This is one of the maps that we know he can do it on. Now this retake's looking tricky.
Xiao's got the ultimate here, but Safe's found so much space behind in this lurk. FPX have to be either aware of it. He's actually coming up through now with the Deafen coming through.
The timing could not have been better. Safe timing it to perfection, the flash underhand. And Safe still operating at such a high level. 3 kills already. Impact galore, and Sugetsu do nothing but watch here. No one gonna exit through on short. And this is recovery. This is road to recovery for Guild. This is critical for them. 7 rounds now, and they found a bit of room to work.
Like I said, it's perfect timing from Safe. Like I said, as soon as that Deafen comes through onto site, there's such a risk that they just come barreling out of this smoke. It's timed to perfection here. The backstab onto both Xiao and Ardis. Beautiful work. And actually, previously to this, you see Ardis on the minimap considering the possibility anybody's
get, you know, a little bit closer now, because I feel it's another one of those rounds that's on that knife edge that really could start sending us back to a close game.
Just, I mean, you look at the finances here for FPX. Angel struggling massively. Ardis off the tour de force. Able to spread the funds a little bit, but there's a Guardian in the hands of Angel. There's not an awful lot else left behind us. Maybe a hero rifle for Angel in the next. We know he's usually good for it, but on the other side, look at Guild. They can play out a couple of these scrappy rounds. Have that confidence booming that some of these deaths don't necessarily matter if they're going to close them out.
And they've shown that presence early towards A main, right? They pulled the rotations. They've actually got what they wanted. And it's a fake, right? Like, all it is like, hey, guys, we're going to do the same thing. I promise you Trex is over here. Boombot's been invested. Now, that did, of course, garner the attention of Xiao, who's now sitting towards tree. They've adjusted a little. But, as we know, Artis just around this corner. A lot of pressure on this man's shoulders. He does have Zipan there as well. Artis has to be careful, because again, it's only 2 of them at this point. They may have to kind of dip back a little if they can't hold them off the door, which they have done for now. Zipan seems to be slow to touch Artis with the spam, but again, slowing down the approach here at the back of that suppress.
The null command popped, and now ultimately Zipan can just post up. He knows that this hit's not going to come. Sugetsu's going to be in a prime position to pick up any aggression towards short, and actually Angel's going to spot one on the cross. Potentially here, but you need him to stay alive.
Angel, if Angel goes down, the map is so open, and I'm a bit nervous about this. He's just walked in and eaten the flash. Oh, he's a lucky boy. He gets to keep his life here, and the pressure's going to start mounting, and he just gets outdone. Goldamenta, the Kingmaker himself, going to crack open the round. It's 15 seconds. You got to go now. Artis has to be ice cold with this, and he's not. He's outdone. He's overwhelmed. Sugetsu from the back line is going to at least catch one, but it is a 3v2. Post plant now, and Russ is in the power position. Make it back to a 3v3, though. Let's see what they can achieve.
I'm not even sure the timing on these smokes here with Angel investing one ahead of that.
Oh, it's
Death,
so good.
Safe swings on it.
That's bravery right there to peek ahead, to try and be disruptive. Drop down comes in. Actually, Angel going to punish Goldamenta. Cross being watched. It's not pretty, but it gets the job done. And now the 1v2. Xiao noted one on the back of the side, but he's going to be toyed with. He's going to be trying to be pulled in every direction. Russ being so audible just to be a problem. And the time, they played it really well there, Guild. Guild on the turnaround here, Mike. They're back in this game now.
Yeah, I have to say again, Angel just caught off in 2 different scenarios there where he's completely outpositioned himself. It's really strange to see it so consistently because it's so rare online. This is the first sort you don't see this happening online whatsoever. But 2 separate occasions in this round. Okay. Yeah, nice shot, Golda. But yeah, it's a little strange, and to see FPX punished on the back of it, Barbar Cam is just gold. It's just gold.
Can we just get a pip of Barbar the whole time? That'd be good. Don't do it. Maybe.
I'll find you.
It's broken money though, right? So you can see the knock-on effect of why it is actually such a dangerous round to be picking up.
Oh my god, Trex is 1 HP after that spam.
Ooh. Didn't note that. Yeah, I thought Trex was dead. Oh, poor old Trex. Gets to walk away, but barely limping his way through. Double stacked up towards short, though. Swinging out a little, trying to get that exploration, but they could be quick to this, Mike. This could be a moment of redemption for Angel.
It's the hero rifle as well in his hands this time around. Going to find something Leo picked off. Actually makes this doable now.
They've got a lot of info off this as well. Look how many of them got suppressed off the back of that, and they're going to try and readdress the top side and middle. Maybe try and remove that hero rifle or something, but A just doesn't feel like the right choice to them right now, and probably rightly so. But Artis going to pick up the mantle. Headhunter by name and potentially in nature, dips away for now. And we look at Angel again, tries to be in the right place at the right time. Angel does go down, Artis to fill the void and take safe with him. They're being herded around this map, but they've actually got a free shout towards A here.
Actually get ahead of this, and Zipan
He's got to get back, he knows it.
Should hear these steps on the cross to site. Yeah, he will definitely now.
They've actually got themselves at least... Oh! I was going to say a safe plant, maybe not now. That's so deadly, Zipan. Made this so feasible. Artis recovering the rifle as well. Xiao, it makes easy work out of the door, and now it's game on. Just post on with the 2v2. Bear in mind, Trex is 1 HP. That's all he's got. He's still got Artis, but he's got to find 2 more. It has to be perfection from Trex. And Xiao tries to still his nerves, steady himself. Trex plays the time, creeping closer. Xiao! It's perfection from Trex. 1 HP. That's unreal work.
Actually disgusting. 1 HP and finds the Red Bull clutch here. What a time to deliver here for Guild as well. Brings it within 1 round. I mean, the first is brilliant. The second here to isolate Zipan. Absolute insanity from Trex.
I love Barbar. How can you not be a fan of this as a coach? As a coach. And FPX, I mean, you're starting to get a little worried now, right? Like, it was a close round still. As much as it's like, yeah, you just lost like a 1v3 to someone on 1 HP, it's a tilter, but it's still a close round. But your mental has got to start being a little bit shaken here, right? You're starting to feel the pressure. This is your home map. This is where you felt good. So you had all that depth. And Guild have picked it into you. They've left it there. Like, I mean, they left it open for you to walk into. And it's starting to feel like a bit of a trap here on the attacking side because Guild have made it back up to 9 to the 10 rounds. However, full purchase for FPX now.
Nothing behind it, though. To get this one up to stop this momentum because Guild have built up a little bit of a bankroll. Ultimate's coming back online as well. Cold Mentor one away from the Cosmic Divide. Tour de Force there to finances even healthier. Leo's as well. And might see this invested here for this set piece.
Again, it's that fine margin. Do you back? Do you stay? Artist just copped a load of damage as well. Has to fall away from this. Respect the investment and safe and such. This could be a power position as well. If he gets the timing right. Catches Angel. Comfy work. Xiao next on the chopping block. And he's buying time. Just has to be a nuisance, be a pain to handle. Give favorable fights on the side. And Xiao just trying to get back with the boys. Artist again warded away. Guild are putting up the barriers of entry. They are not allowing FPX back into this. Divide gonna go through. They've got to leave. They've got to leave the site. This is going to be 10-10. We finally got a game on our hands. I was a bit worried. You know what? FPX were looking super strong. Guild, a little flaky here and there. Now we've got a matchup. And FPX, with this amount of being saved across at least, will be able to keep a purchase going forward.
I think we'll be able to scrape something for Angel as well. It's a very, very important round win for Guild. And actually looking as if they want to come forward, try and aggress, remove some of these rifles, but I think the timing not in their favor. Drawn out the Cosmic Divide, and I think that's ultimately the factor that decides it for FPX. I'd say actually scrape something together. It's going to be a Bulldog or a Guardian at best for Angel.
Oh, yeah, so
Or just a rifle with no shield.
Wow.
But yeah, seeing this defense from FPX just hasn't been as robust as what we're used to.
No.
So Getsu not really finding an awful lot of value, and he's usually the one to get behind some of these executions. And then I got to say, it's some individual mistakes that are very, very rare on the side of FPX. But Guild are doing a great job of actually just avoiding Ardis, right? Just completely mitigating him. And the fact that Ardis isn't as proactive as we've maybe seen him at this event so far will also be something to consider here. Xiao got his hands full here.
Pressure. And it's coming through middle as well. There was a time limit on how long Xiao could have stayed there. Angel quickly trying to fill the void from CT. Swings even further and actually gets
second.
Russ. Angel doing big damage here. Bolstering the numbers for FPX. Now just being held on the way in. 2 left. It's Leo and Trex. Site is theirs. They can get the plant down. And Leo's on guard duty. He's got to keep this boy safe. Get him some tuck towards site. We've got 3 to handle. Zipan and Angel. Making their way through. Every second is precious right now for Guild. But they are a player disadvantage here. Information on one and not the other, it's a telling sign. Waiting for that util to come back online. By the stairs, it's 1, but it's traded. Now a 1v2. Trex, he did a 1v3 on 1 HP.
What?
Ooh, how is Angel alive? Somehow dancing between the bullets. This is good time purchase by Trex here. That's all he's trying to do is buy time. The right click from the Classic is not enough. Artis tries to get in there, but time is close, but he should just about get this.
Yep, got the defuse through. A beautiful retake. Actually, at the end of things, you can see the moment there where Angel's on 20 HP. I'm not even sure how none of those shots connected onto him. But just baiting out a couple of times.
Right back on the timeout.
One enemy remaining.
that was a precarious round. So
Artis
dangerous.
clinging to life on the diffuser keys. He's still fist bumping.
Well done, boys.
But yeah, it's quiet in there. It's, again, Guild have found all the value on the way through. Onto side, this isn't going to have an awful lot of effect. I mean, more so for FPX's money, but...
Oh, I mean, yeah, Guild was sitting like on like 8k. They've been sitting pretty
the problem being, if Guild tie it up here, that's when FPX are reduced back to
oh yeah, they'll be back
pennies.
And let's kind of look through that round with a bit of a fine-tooth comb as well. I'd still say Guild looked pretty good into it. You had a moment from Angel picking up, what, 3 kills that round? 2, potentially, halting that way forward. hard to find that value every round because Angel's been a little hot and cold. Not a terrible performance, but it's that consistency.
It's the positioning. It's not necessarily the gunfight that he's taking. It's being caught off guard in terms of positioning, which is something that Angel historically is just, I mean, one of the best at. Literally one of the best at. In just silently finding space around the map.
No, you're absolutely right. So big timeout coming in here. To stop the rot, FPX finally get that round on the board. You can see the streak starting at that 16th round. It's just run through. So FPX desperately needed that round. Came down to a 1v2. And was converted in the end. 10 to 11 though, the money in absolute droves for Guild. Sitting pretty, and we go back in.
Have the showstopper to try and get something done here. There's actually a slower approach here in the early round for Guild. Operator noted. Oh, this has to dip out now though. Cleared with a little bit of utility shout, hoping to find some damage on the back of it. Actually, Coldamenta might get punished. Nobody destroying the reveal for him.
We'll catch them. No charges.
That's the smoke's gone so early.
Have the spike.
That's a fumble.
And with an operator in mix, that's to make things interesting.
My only curiosity is Safe and how much they've accounted for this potential position. I think they're very aware. I'm already seeing Artist kind of turning towards it from CT. If he can thread the needle, though, it could still be so disruptive. But Artist could tuck himself in towards the site. I think Angel trying to find a little bit of information. Notes nothing towards that A approach. So still having faith in it being this B piece, but they need an instigator. And as you said, with losing out on those smokes so early on, it's caused problems for Guild. And really, and another Shao being such a nuisance with this. This has to force the hand here. Russ finally gets it back. Sugetsu's going to find Safe. And now that mid lurk's really amounts to nothing. Russ and Leo, you're surely not going to do much with this. Surely not. The flash at least gets Sugetsu away. Could facilitate the cross. Zipan notes one, but it's Angel on the back of the site. He cannot be caught out here. And he isn't. Zipan and Angel get them to 12. And FPX correcting course.
Two separate occasions there where the reveal is just not destroyed quick enough. Shao finding two crucial kills, and it's who's on the other end of these. Coldamenta falling first really, really weakens any sort of possibility for an execution. Here comes the second as well. I think actually Leo's just behind him in main here, so it's a real shame to see. Just on the back of that utility, finding two freebies.
See the value of Shao on this map. It's why we always said, you know, him on that fade is something to really keep your eyes on. Bit of a specialist. Certainly garnered our attention very early on once they started to run this comp. You're seeing it in practice. Artists patrolling over towards middle. That's a boombot past. We can see the intent from Guild. Heavy look towards that A side. That's going to be Sugetsu over here. Beside him, Zipan. Finest of angles being played with. And well, options now limited. Has to stand and fight. He tries to run. He chose the wrong option as Russ has had enough. Trex just going to lead the way towards the site, ensure safety. There's no one around. You've got that plant for free here. I'm already looking at that flank being controlled and considered. You've got Leo patrolling a little bit deeper down that way. But again, if you're Artist, Angel, and Shao, you're on knife's edge moments. This is looking like 11.
Especially with this operator in the hands of Artist. No possibilities to swap that out, so might even just commit to doing some damage. I mean, a couple of these Guild players very comfortable already. I really want to give away an ultimate orb towards Leo, to be honest. It makes the next round even more worrisome for them. Let's see if they're just going to try and hold on to these. The operator and the Odin, definite considerations to make in terms of the investment here. Guild bring it back to just one round separating. Sugetsu again, you can see he's got so many different factors to worry about.
Hey.
Oh no. Okay, thank God.
Live.
The little shake of the head. Wasn't happy about that one.
Not happy. Not happy at all. 11 to 12. It's gotten close now. FPX, convert this one? Okay, no problem. A little shaky, a little bit worried for the rest of the map pool, because I thought this was going to be the flagship, right? This is the starting point, and then the problems begin on the next map. But
for me, there's an allowance for the adjustment period, but on Ascent, you got to take that with a pinch of salt. This is one that, oh no, they've lined up for the counter spam. No way, right? No way. Way. They just stack up. Leo and Trex literally removing Shao for free.
You can't do it more than once. And now Safe, I don't know if you're prepared for this, both of them facing. That's a lot of information received.
Cover going out.
And FPX made it look a little silly.
Go get him.
Now what does Guild do with this? Man advantage so early on. Zipan desperate to even the board, and he gets punished for it. It's falling to pieces. It's looking like OT is beckoning. Sugetsu, Artist, and Angel can go and walkabouts, and this is perfect for Safe. Sugetsu might check. Oh, the timing's good enough.
Sugetsu.
Super clean with this work. Sugetsu, maybe just...
What?
Whoa! Sugetsu, what is that? What is that work? Clean, cold, and concise, and brings it back to a favorable situation for FPX. Unthinkable. And now the 1v2, it's Leo, though. Has to go forward, fights Angel, takes him down, and Artist.
Oh, my word.
Oh, just spotted him on the cross. It's 30 seconds.
30
Oh, it's
seconds
going to come in, and
left.
what does Artist do? The man.
Planted.
Don't do no wrong sometimes. Same can be said for Leo. Both so gifted, so talented. And the shots go astray. It's so
Artist finds it.
dangerous, Artist. Brutish in approach.
What?
Does do it, and you gotta say it. Thank God for Sugetsu in that round.
What is that last round? And again, he's so quick for the readjustment on the first, but then it just lines him up. Literally, one of the most confident plays you'll see. What is that? I mean, Guild completely robbed there in the last round.
They did everything right.
Everything
right. I could watch that last round back a million times.
I mean, what a first game for him. To come through here and deliver, especially in this final round in particular,
Yes.
deliver for FPX, bail them out from a round that should have been way more comfortable for them. Way more comfortable.
I mean, the mechanics on that man. This is the thing, when you look at FPX, it's so easy to see them on that surface level of just being, they're a thinking man team, super strategic. If you don't see how much firepower this squad has when it starts to hit, you are missing out. Because again, you got to say, Guild played a formidable game. They brought out a fantastic side hit. They pushed FPX to the map. Just watch this.
This is so
this.
stupid. I mean, it almost defies logic. Guild are stacking up here. The repeats are pretty sloppy, yes, but
Sure.
Sugetsu just landing shots left, right, and center. And this is a map that actually Guild ran away with something that and they won out with finding very clean first blood engagements, which isn't something you're often given versus FPX.
No, it really isn't. This has been a welcome to the stage, I guess you could say, for Sugetsu, but what a first map, and we potentially have 2 more to come up. So let's not waste any time. Let's head over to that break, where you'll be joined by the desk after a second.
Guild, they pushed FPX to the limit, but in the end, the map went to the way of FPX, who the players have said, this is the real FPX now. This is the full roster. What was your impression on the fact that they managed to close that map out, but also not in the cleanest of ways?
Yeah, let's be honest, it wasn't perfectly clean, but this was still a solid look from FPX. I think you can kind of give them a little bit of a break that there were some issues in the map, considering it's kind of, it's like the new, old squad. It's kind of hard to contextualize that one, but despite this being his first game on the big stage, Sugetsu very much was stepping up.
Yeah, well, we said that there was no one in this tournament that could have replaced Sugetsu for FPX, and I think he proved it in that last round alone, just being able to pull it completely out of the bag. We would be in OT right now if it wasn't for him, so fantastic performance. I think Safe needs not even an honorable mention. He was superb throughout.
Yeah, and on, well, the same side for FPX, it was Angel, the IGL, who had maybe some inconsistencies in this game. I feel like it's kind of the duality of man with him. Sometimes he's inting in, dying first repeatedly, and other times he's pulling off these kind of last-minute crazy clutches. And when it got late in this game, it was very much the latter for Angel.
Yeah, I think there were definitely some weird moments where it was like he would be caught with his own utility in hand, like the smokes he was placing down and then being entry'd because of it. And he does have some pretty poor stats when it comes to those entry percentages.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit worried in that regard that if Guild are able to capitalize a little bit better, they could have won this map easily.
I mean, that 30% first death percentage is pretty crazy for a controller player.
Yeah, and some of these misplays from FPX as well. Again, they could have closed out this map out, Tom, a little bit earlier.
Yeah, for sure. I think that obviously plays in for both sides. Like, bear in mind that there were 1 HP clutches and crazy rounds coming in from the other side. Safe's flanks was something to mention as well. Things that I don't know if they would get away with every single time, or even just rounds like this where they're playing against mostly pistols and it manages to go the other way. So I think both teams had their sort of shaky moments at times. I feel like Guild are going to feel a little bit hard done by, though, that they didn't manage to at least get this to OT.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, close really does not cut it, because that was the map that, well, it's really solid for FPX. I was hoping to maybe have Guild find that possibility to come on through, because Will Breeze has historically been all right for that Guild squad. I don't know if I have faith for them to rally back, take us to a third after that kind of heartbreaking loss on the first.
Well, Trex, though, you must have a little bit of faith in him.
I mean, he was popping.
Yeah, he was popping. And Tom, you mentioned the 1 HP clutch. Let's just have a look at this one more time in the Verizon high-speed moment. I didn't think he was going to do this, but I maybe it's my fault that I underestimated.
Let's be real. If you did think that he was going to do this, you're insane. Because this was one of the craziest clutches we've had in the entirety of the tournament. The fact that he was able to just isolate these 1v1s, and a lot of the time you can't even really blame the opposing side. It was just insta-shots. The second he swings, you're already dead. Like, look at it from the POV of Xiao. Yeah. The man has a gun that's literally for spamming walls, and he couldn't even react in time.
And honestly, Xiao, you can't blame him. 149 out of 150, that's like 99.9% of the job being done. Unfortunately for him, the final 0.1% didn't really come over the line. But more generally, for Guild, some of those clutch rounds, some of those close situations, I mean, Trex in particular was popping off. That's what you were looking to see in the second half. He delivered, so maybe that's a form that can be kept on through to Breeze.
I mean, we've all been excited to see Sogetsu. Let's take a look at him as he prepares for the next map on the AIM Lab shoot-around. I think he's already justified his worth and shown why him being here is going to give FPX a massive boost. How big of a boost do you guys feel like this is going to be going into Breeze?
It's his best map.
Yeah.
Man's got 35 kills in the regular season playing this map. He's an absolute machine. So, and I think especially when you look at how he'll be left alone a lot of the time on the defensive side, you saw the vulnerabilities when they had Cider in that role. No offense to Cider, it's not his fault. He's not within this system, which is basically, hey, Saigetsu, hold the site.
Yeah, I mean, people complain about being anchors on Breeze. It is the role that most players do not want to do. But Saigetsu, not only does he do it, but he does it to such a high level. He's such a key player for FPX. I mean, shout out the visa office, really, for making this one possible.
Yeah, but what about Guild on the other end of this? We haven't seen Guild play Breeze yet. I have a few questions when it comes to it. What do you guys think?
I think compositionally it's probably going to be different. Like, I'd be very surprised if they came in... Well, Trex was playing Cypher last time. I don't imagine they're going to continue in that same trend.
Yeah, that was one of those games where they did win over Mech, but I wasn't super convinced by what they were showing me. I think the Cypher is a solid pick. I just want Trex to have more freedom. I think what he's shown us on the Rays has deemed him worthy of being able to play a more star role.
And do you feel like that is the win condition here? Take Trex off the Cypher and just let him go loose?
Well, we've seen them a couple of times change things up where it's even safe picking up that Sky so that they can switch off Russ's role. I also wouldn't mind seeing him play KO. I think his KO's been really good on Icebox, and I think that, especially with it being more of a meta pick, I think that could work nicely for them.
Still, I do like what Cypher offers on this map. I'm still of the opinion that maybe someone else would be the better option, but, you know, some other players can step up. I think what you mentioned with that Russ and the swap between him and Trex on those two roles would be great between the KO and the Cypher. Just not sure if that one's going to happen. On the other side, though, for FPX, this is a map where they've juggled their comp around quite a lot. They showed us that Yoru a while ago that was super cool.
Every map.
It's every map except Descent, really.
Yeah, we are heading into the Agent Select now. Of course, last time we saw Xiao on Jet, I think we weren't super convinced by what he could do and the rest of the composition. And Mimi, as Mimi mentioned, well, they are going to go back to Xiao going on Sova, and Angel has finally, Tom, brought out the Yoru.
Yeah, this is the only map I ever want to see him play Yoru on. I think all the others in theory could have worked, but this was the one where it did.
Yeah, it worked before. And I mean, I was watching the games and I was like, hey, this is a little bit troll. And then I was talking to Josh and he had actually tried the comp out on this map, and some of the sneaky TP spots that you can get, it's really tough to play against. It's a completely different style. And if you're on the other side,
it must be bad.
Yeah.
Poor guy. But he's not even here and he's catching strays. It's tragic,
He did run it down in our ranked game,
okay, well, that's
so
just,
I don't forgive him for that.
He thinks Phoenix is a good agent in ranked. But, I mean, Guild, obviously, they're going to be continuing through with that that same comp, they think Cypher is the good agent for Trex. I really am hoping that, well, that agent stays the same. He gets a little bit more freedom and that we can see some of those Trex moments out of him.
I will say, though, playing up against a Yoru, that's going to make things a little bit more difficult for the Cypher because a lot of the time Angel's just going to go past all of his utility.
Well, they brought out the KO as well for the Sky, but finally we get a Yoru here at Masters Copenhagen, Pansy and Hybog. I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah, and I'm actually interested. Are you excited for this one? Do you believe in the Yoru pick? Do you like it here? Because again, we have seen the kind of glimpses of this in the past coming out from Angel to varying degrees of success.
I mean, it's a tall order. Can Angel match up to Sideshow here and deliver a Sideshow level performance on Breeze? That's what I've got my eyes on. I'm actually with Tom. This is the one that you didn't want to see. Fracture, they tried this out with the Breach. I'm pivoting away very quickly.
Yep.
They tried this out
Swift.
with the Breach, and there was a couple of set pieces that looked good, but it wasn't really Angel in the role that we expect to see him in. And I think that was the key difference here. On Breeze, completely different application of the Yoru.
Yeah. I will keep my eyes towards it. I think we all will be. Something out of the norm. But they do have that map advantage. So they can get a little bit weird with it now. For Guild, however, this is this is the big one, right? You can't lose here or you're done for. And all that hope got ripped away. And what you could argue was just pretty much Sugetsu in that round. But come back in. Fresh start. Brand new map. And if you are just tuning in, we will be having Guild, of course, starting out this time on the defensive side. And that then means that FPX will be on the attack. And you're seeing early progress trying to be made here. But Zipan didn't quite get the fair fight he wanted. Coldamenta overwhelmed quickly. And a trade for Artist, but it's swiftly dealt with.
It's not actually considering the double stack here, but Angel's found some space behind this. So it's actually a very deep position here towards yellow. The spike will come through. Sugetsu actually going to find Leo inside Tube. And should take away some of the pressure, but Trex answers back.
So we get to see what Xiao and Sugetsu can do about this one. Xiao still playing
Last player standing.
towards the site itself, and Sugetsu now called upon. This is a tough scenario. Needs some sharp shots here. And they're just not hitting this time. Did as much damage as he could towards Safe, but outgunned in the end. And the pistol round, at least the first hit, will be won by Guild.
Guild really stick to their guns there and Tube with the double stack. Happy to commit to it. FPX don't really garner an awful lot in terms of progress elsewhere. Angel gets a very deep position, but very quickly dealt with. It takes away one of the key parts of that setup for FPX. Oh, today's Sugetsu's birthday. 20 years old.
Nice.
What a way to spend it, right?
It's not bad, yeah? Just like, hey, welcome to the event. Probably clutched up for your team, saved you
Got
from
himself
OT.
a clip for the day, yeah?
Got himself a clip. There it is. Happy birthday. When's your birthday, Mike?
Been and gone.
Right. Still waiting for what you get me for my birthday. Very exciting. This round, probably not so much so. Shiko. So it could have a little bit of threat to it, but you want to be looking at Guild to keep this clean. You don't want any mistakes to be made. Set the precedent and the bar early.
The Safe almost left to try and figure out what this wall is for, but nobody behind it. Coldamenta got to be careful here because a couple of members of FPX stacked outside B site. Actually, the TP sent through towards backside. Coldamenta's probably not going to hear this traveling past him.
Poison's off.
I think it will just be planted as a bait for the time being.
Nailed them.
And so it's challenged, but he's holding really well here.
Chunk of damage onto Sugetsu as well.
Trex did get removed, so it's not going to be flawless, but Russ trying to pick up here. Close down that middle presence, and there it is. One loss, which will be Trex so far. And Zipan, any more on the docket? Anything else you can find? No, not going to happen. Guild, 4 standing.
Well handled as well. FPX not really able to create any pressure towards B site there, draw any rotation, especially with Safe getting such deep control of mid very early on. Actually a fantastic position to be in here for round 3. 3 Bulldogs, Vandal in the hands of Trex. Coldamenta going to carry through the Spectre. If there's any adjustment here really in terms of the setup just to make, or at least put Coldamenta in a position to make use of the Spectre, but investment of the wall early on towards A, and he's actually going to make his way back over towards B site. So FPX are stacked up once again. A deep setup here with the Cypher utility as well, looking to catch a couple of people off site.
See how much they can get out of this. Flank's timing could have been interesting. It's actually Trex still to find Zipan. So you're going to see now, having to only operate with 4, see if there's still any movement to be found on this site. You can see Guild's actually got him pretty much wrapped on this, just holding those extremities, not overextending, allowing just enough room, but it has allowed safe to be picked up. Artist going to find 1.
Russ is
Russ's
so
timing.
early, though.
Yeah, this is really, really big timing. Not going to waste any seconds here. Beautiful work from Russ. Huge value in that position on the flank. As we get to, not again, 3 HP. Surely this is too far, and there's no escape in that one. Leo doesn't even want to deal with it himself. Pops in the shock dart, takes him down, and Guild convert that 3rd.
Beautifully handled again. Just the damage control here, at least damage limitation on display from Guild, allowing safe passage towards site and burning up a lot of that time on the Toxin. Sugetsu had to, I mean, the entirety of FPX had to wait on that. And Russ, very quickly on the back of next to no contact. Flanks through, completely catching Artist off guard. I think he's more actually concerned with the elbow flank than anybody even making their way through cannon.
This should put FPX right back down in the dumps here. With a light arm behind the Sheriffs, but they didn't get much play with it before. I think they only lost one. I think they were able to find Trex, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like FPX are trying to go roaming in middle. Maybe see if they could find safe, because last time he did get a little aggressive, which is not necessarily a bad idea. This time, paying heed to the danger that could have been mounting, but something that was said on the desk is what Trex left to his own devices here. A lot of faith in this man.
So these are forced away, but Angel still in line of sight there. Head will be removed.
Careful now, safe.
Double dips a little bit, yeah. There's another member of FPX Artist actually tucked up very close here. Leo still finds it though. Just a little gap in the wall and punished for it.
Such great awareness from Leo to not fall to that. They hadn't necessarily seen Artist prior to that, but had a good inclination there could have been someone working close. Cold Dimension going to watch that cross. Finds another. No, actually, Zipan's there for it. Now Russ on the side just needs to play for time, allow for the cross to be watched by his buddy, which is going to be safe. So, all going very much par.
Beautiful timing on the peaks as well. Don't give FPX any chance to isolate any of these 1v1s.
Really, really quite nicely done. And this is where I want to see FPX start building their way back into this, because, again, I don't particularly want one-sided maps in this affair. It's why it got a little exciting at the end of that first one, because it could have gone either way. Obviously converted by Sugetsu, but here I want to see FPX put up a bit more of presence now. Have that full purchase beside them. A couple of ults as well to work with.
The null command going to be one that we keep our eyes on. Early to note, Trex make his way away from the utility so that his teammates can make use of it. FPX this time around not stacked up towards B. There'll be 3 members initially to probe towards A site. That Viper's pit will go up. Safe. Finds Sugetsu very early on in this round. Barely past the 1 minute 30.
Beautiful. First time we've really seen that committed into at least the buy rounds. We saw them kind of probing earlier on in the pistols, but to then kind of bring that into the full buys. Bold play, but it pays. Now FPX trying to stack up over towards that B site. Don't think got any information on this. They should have a good idea as to what's coming their way, but it is all 4 players, and Angel gets red. Found swiftly by Russ, and now saves here in support. It's not just one you're fighting, it's so many. The rotations are en route, Coldamentor's on the way, and they're held at the door. There's no way into this, and it is just Artist. That operator got nothing. It got no room to work, no time to work. Location now being tracked and safe on the Hun. Coldamentor's got him. This is clean stuff from Guild.
Prime Gaming flawless for Guild to find their 5th. Already running away with this, expecting the timeout to come through a little earlier here for FPX.
It's got to be now, right?
Not an awful lot of positives to really draw together from some of these rounds. Like I said, safe, isolating this, seemingly for free as well. And it's the fact that it comes across so early. I mean, I guess that's why we see Angel trying to make plays like this, to get something done at least. Be able to throw something in this, though, for FPX. The Tour de Force available. Viper's Pit here if they can get themselves into a post plant. The null command and actually the Hunter's Fury as well. Shao and Angel yet to get on the board. 0-5 a piece here.
I mean, the front line's been a little lacking. I feel like none of the sites, like any post plants, any of these scenarios were particularly threatening. They've had so much good control on that B site. I mean, again, it has been a categoric shutdown here, so I'm not sure what FPX have in the tank for this. That's what's kind of piquing my interest, is how many options do you have? What do you have to work with? What do you have to bring out here? What's the depth where you start going towards? We haven't really seen a massive look towards middle yet. A couple of attempts, but nothing too much. But
Well, I
volume
think
back to Leo being there. You know, all the presence that's come in and actually denied this so well.
In the 2 rounds we did, it was Sugetsu trying to bait something out of the wall, and Safe was there so early on
Safe
in
pushed
that
down.
anti-eco with
Right.
the Bulldog, where it didn't really create any pressure at all. So
Yeah.
Guild, like you said, and actually in the following round there, where Safe and Leo are both tucked up in Nest, there's not really, and FPX have to re-explore it for the second time because they're banking on the fact that Guild haven't got some of these close contact areas covered in mid. There will be a Guardian in the hands of Zipan. Tour the forces, I said, and Sheriffs across the board. Colomenta looking as if he wants to create further pressure and tube with his Poison Orb. Zardis on the back end of it. So denied initially any sort of angle. The decoy is sent out. So it's always funny to see that the cogs turning when they're considering some.
This is a round for Russ here. Precarious positioning.
I mean, there's
Dependent,
no contingency to this whatsoever.
yeah, dependent on a lot of things going right for him here. You can't really back away from it. And I don't know if I like the one and done in
The
this.
weapon given across as well.
Didn't love that, if I'm honest. I know dependent on the camera, but even with that, you still have to try and handle potentially 4 players. Trex, good for it to isolate Angel. Trying to use this as best he can to find some safety here, and he's done just that. Leo's there in support now, and with all that danger, it is a 1v3. There's a chance for Artist, be it slim. Looking for anyone to overstep here or make a peek or make something happen. A mistake is not going to happen. Safe's got the cross again. And once they fall into position, Mike, once they get these crossfires in play, Guild are exceedingly strong.
Yeah, for sure. And you could actually credit the setup here with the spy cam to maybe support Russ a little bit. The one and done actually favors it. It gives them time to find this rotation. Trex also shutting down the TP of Angel. It's one that ultimately we want to see something on the board here for FPX. Really some positive, some pressure created. Guild are very comfortable in these setups. Said FPX have very few things. It's what, it's 1-2 rounds I think they've been able to get themselves a spike plant, but it's not been comfortable.
All right, Angel, let's see what you got for us. Leo, beheads one. Safe gonna bail him out as well. This is perfect support again. Yeah, Angel's made it to sight, but at what cost? They're losing everyone around him. This is all for naught. And again, Angel's been found. There's no singular fight here to be having. It's all trades. Yes, Xiao's finally had some impact, but it's still 4 against you. You don't even have mid control to fall back to. Nothing is safe for Xiao. It's fallen flat. Above a minute.
Well, the spike, but Safe finds that there with the operator. A much, much quicker PC. You can see immediately the pressure towards double doors created on the back of that mid wall from Sugetsu, but there's just no real bite to that execution. Even with the information they're able to gather on the back of Angel's ultimate, the kills come ahead of him even coming out. He's not even here to kind of follow up, trade either of these. Safe, yes, tagged up, but able to respond immediately with the Blade Storm. 12-1 right now for Safe. He's having his way with FPX.
No one really being outstanding for FPX themselves here. Super, super quiet. And really, an individual probably isn't going to make the difference in this one. Safe this time, going to be warded away for now. First shot does go astray. Leo spotting Sugetsu, but obviously has not quite uncovered the fact that Artist has progressed up towards Tube. And again, Angel doing nothing with this. Ah, it's clean. Trex running rampage on him now. It's not as clean as he'd like, but it gets the job done.
One enemy remaining.
And now just Xiao. This is a shutdown, Mike.
Yeah, it is. FPX is getting nothing done. The only Sheriffs and the Guardian to come through. Xiao finally finds a response, but there's 4 more to find.
They're better breaking sweat here. This would be a mistake if Guild dropped this. And they're not making them in that amount. It's a blowout at the moment. There's only so many ways to dress this up. And it is a celebration of how good Guild are on this. There's a reason that this map is out here, that it is in play, that they lean in often. But FPX being this flat, you got to say, whichever way this goes, right? You kind of then look into the rest of the map pool. FPX cannot allow this to ever reappear in any sort of crunch scenarios now.
Not with this comp. Again, there's nothing here really to draw away from. Like I said, the difference being here, the application of the Yoru, but Angel's not able to get into the back lines. He's not able to cause any pressure towards players like Trex, who are tucked into backside, right? It's other people taking first contact for him when these side hits come through. It's unfortunate to see, but Guild on a streak right now, and they've got to be feeling very confident. Expect these, mid swings to still come through. Safe now going to be heating up a lot in terms of this operator usage, and just can float his way around the map.
Other influence of having someone like Barbar is to make sure the boys don't get too overconfident, don't overdo it. That last round getting a little peaky, open up some chance. Again, it was going to be a 1v5 if it was going to happen. So very unlikely. Exactly. Like it's probably not going to happen. But again, you want to keep your players calm, collected, keep their focus. Do not let them overheat in this.
Especially you talk about the mental game of losing that previous round on Ascent.
Yes.
That's the way that you actually lose out here, not forcing overtime there. To have the confidence built back in here with an 8-0 lead on Breeze. Definitely the best remedy for it.
It feels like just wait and see. Safe gets to keep his life. First fight against Artist there. We look across the rest of the map, and actually Safe's doubling down on this. I think Artist has a slight inkling. But to what degree? Artist is in danger now. A haircut given, but nothing connected. And Safe's not backing down from this either. He's holding this just a little longer. Did he spot another?
This is the byproduct of that confidence. He's happy to stand here and fight, at least look for the one kill. The drone going to be forced out just to deal with Safe. Take away a key tool in terms of the execution coming through, but Safe still finds Artist.
Exuding confidence now. Safe getting a stranglehold in this game. Now, FPX do have side control, but again, keep in mind the Guild have everything they need. Money galore, ults galore, tags coming through as well. Spike now down though, finally FPX at least have the time on their side. Not what you wanted. And the ult to try and really supplement this, because they are in dire need of a round, Mike.
Ult command popped on the way back through here. A couple of tags coming through this Viper's pit, but no real damage to write home about.
Come on!
And the second as well.
Come on, Coldamenta. Gonna find two zip band, digs his heels in, and now a 1v3. Shao needs it right now, and he's not gonna get it. Trex is there, and Guild continue forward. This is just a plow through the game from Guild. It's 9-0.
And showing almost no respect to the Viper's pit there on the way back through. Coldamenta finding two crucial kills. First one completely blind, then dips his toes inside the ult. Fantastic stuff from Guild on display, and Safe, honestly, the fact that he's able to get such deep control here towards Tube and draws out the drone, it makes it a massive, massive tool removed from FPX ahead of that execution and the first blood. At this point now, it's already snowballed for Guild, and only a couple of rounds for FPX to even have a mark to leave on this half.
Snowballed so hard, you put some carrot in there and some coal for eyes. It's not happening. I mean, Leo's been a little sloppy with that, but Coldamenta is not. Picks up where Leo left off, and again, it's looking flawless. Shao, how many times do we say Shao in a 1v5? Guess what's happened? It's Shao in a 1v4 this time. Spike down in a very poor position, and Trex his eyes on this. Yeah, Shao's got his work cut out.
At this point, the damage absolutely no factor to consider here, so almost banking on Guild slipping up here. 40 seconds left, it's going to wait this one out. Coldamenta actually making moves towards bottom mid. Put tags onto Trex, but Safe posted up, holding this angle. The operator, he's been good for them. I feel like he's almost doubling up here on opening duels. I can't even recall a time where Safe's given away in opening first blood.
I don't remember Safe dying.
Not lost an engagement. I mean, 16-2 right now.
Yeah. Now this is pinnacle work coming out from Guild. Unfazed by anything FPX are throwing their way. It's looked flat from FPX.
I'll say FPX aren't throwing anything their way.
Nope.
There's barely anything to this.
barely limping into the round. This is a very underwhelming map, if I'm honest. Obviously, the Guild fans are in absolute rapture. They're loving it. But for the purists out there who just want a good game, this is not it from FPX. And with a scoreline like this, you're probably not going to have much of a turnaround, really. I don't know. I'll eat my hat if anything comes of it. But for now, Russ going exploring. Doesn't look like it's going to go too well. Again, punished a little there. Opportunity shown, but again, it's just one rifle. And you can imagine Guild are just brimming in confidence. That's a not spot. There it is. And Safe's just reading the game so well. It's all falling into his lap. He is having the time of his life. And again, he's just not missing.
Spike down.
Every single aspect's working for him. Maybe even predicting that presence from Artist, taking a safer angle and just keeping in mind where Angel may be, and Coldamenta just trying to hunt him down. No prisoners here. Trex sitting deep towards CT, ready to catch Artist. It's perfect. It is the perfect round once again.
FPX will have an opportunity to purchase here in the final. Ultimates-wise, Angel is back online, but didn't really achieve an awful lot on the back of it previously. Zipan one off the null command. Artist will throw an operator in the mix here. Actually, Guild going to pick up a second here. Leo, at least initially, going to hold on to an operator in the early round.
And will it be the flawless run on the half? That is the question. This will be one of those games you blink and you miss it. Quick enough. Coldamenta investing his ult. Angel now having to work his way through this. What does he do with it? Where does he take this? Got to see something, a difference maker. That will do it.
Finally.
Zipan finds an opener.
Yeah.
There it is. That could be the difference maker. Finally taking Safe out of the equation. Could be huge.
FPX still spread pretty thin. Able to really capitalize on the back of that. Trex actually the one to pick up this operator role for the time being. And Leo actually just playing very close contact on that trap wire in tube. Look at FPX's positions. The 60-second mark passes, though, on the back of a first blood. Finally now making their way towards double doors. Leo should hear that TP pass him.
Trex this time, giving it a crack. Good info found. Still finding value here. FPX unsure of what to do. They've never had this much success so far. Plant now going to go down, going to pop the ult as well. And post plant we go. Coldamenta trying to work mid. 3 through towards CT, and maybe not flawless just yet. Calder still going to get it. Had no vision. Still gets away with just straight up murder. And a 3v3. Xiao with the operator Trex as well. Can they pry these players out of position? Leo trying to go on an exploration mission, doesn't note it, but actually forced to face. Trex was ready for it, and away we go. Ult invested, positions revealed. They're going to try and close that gap. How much more can this side do to turn the screws, to apply some pain? They push forward. It's a great play from Trex. A tap for the spike, but they still need to deal with Xiao, and it's going to be a tall task for it. Leo sits on the... Oh, Leo! The backhand for perfection. The flawless half. 12-0.
I mean, the fact that he still resets off that.
Switching sides.
Xiao made it interesting, but they steal away another heartbreaker. Much the same way FPX did in map 1, but what a total contrast we are. 12-0 here on the half.
This is a juggernaut performance coming out of Guild. Instantly redoing all the wrongs from map 1. And again, just a lovely little combination play. It was never out of question in this.
Just out there, Trex holding for the drone to clear the left side of yellow, picking up the second on the right. Beautifully done.
Oh, you
Leo.
nasty Leo.
What a great 2-cam to display. Doombros, I mean, luckily laughing it off. But what a half.
Okay, we need to obviously send this over to the desk. We'll tee up a fantastic second half. It's going to be a long series, I'm sure. We're going to send it back to the desk. Have fun with this. Yinzu, why are you trying to curse us? Relax a little, all right?
Need to.
True.
We've never needed outside
We've
influence.
never needed help in this affair. And someone who doesn't need help in this map is Guild. 12-0, FPX looking flat as a pancake. This is one they'll hopefully just move on from. Sometimes a quick loss just gets out of the way and we move on to the third map. That's, in my mind here, the best course for them, because yeah, obviously it's possible, but the likelihood is near on impossible.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's possible, to be honest with you. Again, making an interesting point here with a total lack of impact on the Yoru on the attacking side. It's even more difficult now. And unfortunately, Angel's been a little out of position, a little sloppy in some scenarios. I'm not really going to bank on it.
Deep breaths. How long does this go on for?
But he's solo solding A side for the minute.
Decided to make a change on that. So for now, they do manage to burst through those double doors. Spike will be on the way soon enough once they kind of secure this. Safe! Dude, what the hell is that? Okay, and the push-up from Russ in the end will take down at least Angel from the side, but Xiao's managed to keep his life, and the Spike gets lost on the cross. Now there's a problem because that backfill from middle is going to be coming into position. Guild.
What?
Eh? Look, Russ has had a couple of rough games, but someone check him PC, because that's not normally. Safe going to try and aggress a little further towards CT. But that Spike's a problem. They can't quite get it back into hand yet. Artis denies Russ any opportunity, and Safe, the golden boy himself, seems he can do no wrong. This is a test. 30 seconds to try and pass it.
30
Shout,
seconds
13
left.
HP. Artis tagged up to 75. We potentially given an opportunity to find the plant at least. Save himself, only 19 HP. So conscious of the possibility Artis is repositioned elsewhere in the map. We'll find it here. Xiao a little ahead of Artis. Don't want to see a peek come out of this.
He's seen a shoulder.
Great double
Nice.
swing.
Got a little worried when, as you said, it was Xiao kind of getting a little ahead of the curve there. If the timing was a little off, could have maybe brought himself to a 1v1. Not the case. Artis got towards him on time. Fuse comes in, and we got one.
It starts.
And so it begins.
Yes.
I've ever
The
told
long
you
road ahead of us.
The story about it was 12-0 on the half.
Where were you when FPX found 12? I never say this. I kind of wish I was in Twitch chat right now. To be honest,
We can have a look.
I bet that is a very entertaining place to
Yeah,
be.
we can check in. How the people doing? You know. Let us know your thoughts on this matchup. Are you ready for the comeback of the century? Head over to Twitter. I'll pretend I'm reading Twitch chat. Yeah, let us know.
Happy about that one.
Yeah,
Thrilled
loved it.
about that one.
It's a pump up round for sure.
Lock in, guys. Come on.
Focus up now. And we go again. So, Buy comes out. It's going to be what? Spectres, Guardians, Bulldogs. Nothing too pretty. Leo going to get himself the Marshal. And a couple of Sheriffs to supplement with Safe and Russ. But, again, should be par for the course here. Shouldn't really be too much hard work for FPX in this round.
Playing very cautiously as well. Sugetsu's got the support here from Artis. The trap as well just set up for B main. Looks as if Safe and Leo will try and double swing through towards default here. We'll just going through the motion. He's going to potentially try and get both orbs onto Russ. Actually, the one outside shop already shrieked. Angel going to catch sight of Safe. Slight exchange of damage here. Artis good for the first. Russ already tagged up from that snake bite. Makes it very easy. Artis actually sharp on the third.
Spike down mid.
We have to find Safe and Leo just showing a little bit of presence as well. We cleared up, hopefully here. With Safe being down to 45 HP. The one weapon removed here.
Easy comeback. Here we go. Ride of our lives. Buy comes in. This was quite nice for Artis, to be fair.
I don't think so.
Even just mechanically, pretty enough to watch.
Well, Tour de Force online as well. It's an opportunity here to at least make this interesting. Look as if he's actually going to swing out towards B main. There's players stacked up on the other side of this.
They are so dead.
Go Artis!
Collapse.
That's
Spike
money
down
right
B.
there for Artis.
Right place, right time for him. It's Russ and Safe. Removed very early on. Guild's buy round. Try and pivot away from this. No progress found from FPX outside A main. Somewhere around Angel not going hunting either. If Guild can recover anything in this round. Looking for, I mean, it goes without saying, needs to be clean for FPX. Maintain as many of these weapons as possible.
hurry here. Still 47 seconds to play with and just see if anything presents opportunity. For now, not really the case. FPX sitting quite deep towards this. Rotations have already come in, leaving Artis solo towards that B site. And, I mean, the man's good for 2 at least, with 1 shot, so he should be fine for the rest.
30 seconds left.
Let's consider, actually, if Guild don't find a kill here, whether or not they even want to just hold on to 3 rifles here.
Going full Jame time.
I noticed Russ obviously retrieving the orb in the previous. I think he does have an ult command online now. Not sure about safe either, but...
Poison's off.
10 seconds left.
Feels like Angel's about to feed. I like where you tried to go for a cinematic there.
Yeah.
Nice one, observers. Probably that Prius
They're
guy.
trying to help us out. They're trying to help us out.
No, he's like, don't look, just turn away. Turn away. 12-3.
Want to play? Let's play.
Nice. Yeah, not bad for Artis there. So let's look. Here's an easy way for me to get the game over with. When do we call it a comeback? What round?
You say usually a 10, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, you do. I'm with you. I'm with you.
The bar quite high. Only 7 more rounds. We go again. Buy back in, but of course there's now a couple of caveats to that. Safe could be working with just that Spectre. On the other side, things getting a little more flush.
4 noted actually on the back of Zipman's knife here in the early round. But actually, they will follow through with an ult command.
There it is, Zipan. What do you got for us? Can you still hold as they flood towards the site? Safe's going to break in. First now found and the site now open. Artis trying to connect on the cross, but no one's really lining up for him. Aren't going to come in. These positions you've still got, I think it's Leo patrolling so deep, making sure no one's gone on that mad flank, so it should pull all the attention to the right place here. Artis does find Russ and Angel now with that pop flash. Swings it, gets it! Gorgeous from Angel. And now there's little hope. Leo has to be pulled back in to check here. They should know where these players are. They're gonna tap on the spike. First real shot at this one. And they ain't stopping. Angel's gonna sit this if he can. And nothing's shot him and really denied him until then. Hold on! Cold Dementor! He's just about held this. And Sugetsu has to try and navigate the way through this. And Cold Dementor on the reposition. The time's on his side! And the shot's there! It's 13-3. And it's shut down.
I mean, just a fantastic demonstration here on Breeze. Yes, you can talk about a massive underperformance here from FPX. This Yori just not working the way it did. Similarly, maybe actually with a little bit of tape now on display, Guild have actually taken that into consideration here with this veto, but shows if they won't even entertain the possibility. No nonsense whatsoever from Guild here.
And I like that they mean business, and after map 1, you got to feel this was good for morale, good to get that mentality right back into place.
Let's keep in mind that we actually edge FPX towards winning Ascent, right? So the fact that that's close and Guild come out and stomp here on map 2, actually kind of flips the expectation just a little bit.
It really does. That is something we have to now address when we go into that 3rd map now that is on the docket. And this is something, again, I have to give credit to them because Guild are one of those kind of slow build teams. And if you're an EMEA fan, of course you know who they are, but the rest of the world still getting to learn who this team is. They've got superstars in the making. One of them being Baba.
I think he's actually holding a mini-map there, drawing all the spaces that Angel's going to try and TP to.
Yeah, I like that. We'll slow it down, make sure that's the case, double check. But it is good to see Guild just answer back. As you said, no nonsense. And I think that's the key word to really rely on here is that they should be fresh for that 3rd map.
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, I always say this in the best of 3, if you can flip back after conceding map 1, in map 2, if you come out with a confidence display like this, in the best of 3 series, it's a real power position to be going into the decider.
Well, we've got a game on our hands, and this is an elimination. Do not forget that, as we'll be going to map 3 after the break and the desk.
What a response from Guild there. They take map 2 of Breeze against FPX. I'm Youngsu and I'm back here with Mimi and Tom. We never like to see a blowout, but if you're a Guild fan, I'm pretty sure you're going to be pleased with that performance.
If you're a Guild fan, you're over the moon. I think they're a team that have always worked well with the momentum as well. Like, you see the way Barber's acting, I'm sure he's hyping them up. So the fact that they've dominated this game, I think it sets them up wonderfully for the next.
I mean, it was such an excellent standout performance from Guild, considering map number 1, despite the fact that they did push that to limit, there were some shaky moments. All that was gone in Breeze. This team rallied. Safe stepped up in such a big way. The way he was playing Jet on this map was insane. The opping potential. There was no moment where FPX was getting something done in the early round. I mean, there's not too much more to say about 12-0 half. Credit to FPX. They got a couple rounds in once we got to the second, but really nothing inspired. It looks like they just went through the steamroller.
Yeah,
I like the balance as well. It was like the fact that you had that aggression of Safe on one side, and then you had Trex on the other, who was just fantastic at holding the side.
Yeah, and I mean, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The big blue elephant. It's the Yoru pick. Angel went back to it, and it
Wait, they played Yoru?
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have noticed. You wouldn't have noticed because it didn't get anything done, right? We had these teleport plays. We had a couple moments where it looked like there was a potential, but Angel never was finding value in the early games. Even this one, where he ults in, you're not getting anything off of that. These should be the moments where Yoru's getting a little more. This one, opponent is flashed, and he just can't hit the shot. This agent is just so niche. It's so niche. You need a very specific, very weird circumstance for it to pan out, and Guild knew that it was a possibility. They knew where those TP gates would come from, and they shut it down in every single round.
I think as well the problem is a lot of it revolves around a setup. So you have him taking the space, and a lot of the time when they won, it didn't really matter if he died. It was the follow-up. There was never a follow-up. And I think a lot of the time that came down to Trex, because he had some wonderful setups that were like catching. I think it was like the KO running in. I think Zipan got caught quite a lot. Or yeah, like Zipan got caught quite a lot. It was like a problem for them that Angel was through, but nobody else was.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel a little scammed. Josh was telling me big on the Yo. He was like, trust me, there's actually potential.
You believe
for this
something
pick.
Sideshow said.
I bought in. I bought in.
Deserve.
And now I have no money left. I have nothing left. I bet the house on it.
In fairness, Lothar has also said that it worked here. Lothar's
if Lothar watched that, he would be. He's probably ripped his hair out. Because
yeah.
the way that he plays Yoru is not the same.
Very,
way
very different.
Angel plays Yoru.
I mean, we spoke about Angel a lot today, but on the other side of this, coming into this tournament, one of the most underrated in-game leaders, Coldamenta, had a great map so far here.
Yeah, we were hyping up Sogetsu coming in towards this one, and I think he got Viper Diffed by Kolda. I mean, he was the man to close things out at the very end there. Really great anchoring from this guy, 2.5 KD. He just was not dying, holding down the site when it didn't come towards that operator player.
Yeah, I think this is probably the worst Viper performance we've seen from Sogetsu. As I said, like, I think he was averaging like 250 when it came to the normal season within EMEA. Maybe that's just a poor performance from him, but I also think that a lot of it was Safe. I think Safe was just causing them so many issues with how aggressive they were being. You can't get to the point where they have these executions and his late lurks if your lurk is being caught every time, if you're getting fought for every single piece of map control. And I think Guild, they always come in with a plan when they've seen the tape. They saw the tape, no adaptation from FPX, they got boomed.
When it comes to the plan, though, I did not think we were going to get to see Bind between these two teams, let alone Bind.
I don't know if I wanted to see Bind.
It's the decider here. It's the decider. And do you know what works on Bind? Yoru.
They're not running Yoru.
No.
The only person who's allowed to do it is Forsaken,
Yeah.
and even then, that's only because he's Forsaken.
Yeah, he is the sole exception. I mean, this is a map that for both these teams, they don't tend to favor playing. For Guild thus far, it was a rough one this tournament. They lost out in OT to Crew here. And for FPX, it's just not really a map that they play very often. Neither of these teams are huge Bind teams, which makes it interesting. My initial take was that neither wanted to actually commit to the ban, so they just kind of out-chickened each other to get into the pool. But I'm wondering, maybe it was intentional from one of these squads. Maybe we will see something new, because for FPX, they've been switching their comp constantly here. It hasn't felt like they've found that comfort place yet. Maybe they have it here?
Yeah, I think that's the same for both teams. It's like the fact that when we get into Agent Select eventually, like Safe has been changing up his role between Chamber and Sky. And it's like, that's not a normal transition between two different agents. And I think it's trying to find comfort for Russ as well, because Russ's Sky in the past was very, very good. Then it's they wanted to bring in a Viper, so now he's playing Viper, but they still wanted the Sky. And then it just leaves like, you can't really switch out like Leo's Fade or Trex's Raze, so you had to switch it somewhere else. I don't think either teams have found a strong footing.
Yeah.
We'll see what they bring in this one.
I mean, I don't think either have a strong footing, and on top of that, if you're FPX here, you have no footing. You are free-falling right now, utterly crumbling on Breeze. Now you come into a map that you don't play a lot of. I'm not sure if they expected to come in towards this pool. Honestly, I'm a little bit worried about them because Guild is just looking impeccable right now.
Yeah, they are indeed. I think Koda was having some in-ears problems. He was really trying to shove it in there. But when it comes to the Viper, I know you guys said that it was a bit of a Viper diff. This is where we can see Sugetsu potentially redeem himself.
It's if he plays it. Like, I think he's been bringing in the Cypher a little bit more recently, which is something I think I actually enjoy more just because of his comfort level, and I think their setups work better around it. Again, I think if it is down Viper v Viper and it's him versus Russ, I would give Sugetsu the edge in that by quite a significant margin. But again, I think it's more so, at least from my perspective, important that they play the agents they're comfortable on, not just, oh, they're playing this, so let's try and counter them.
Yeah, I think comfort is a lot. And I mean, for Trex, we talked a little bit about how we weren't huge fans of that Cypher pick. He normally is going to be playing the Raze on this one, which is such a comfortable role for him. This map in particular, his routing on entries is incredible. If we're fighting in towards A, he'll like satchel in towards backside, wrap around and backstab the player in U-Haul. There's a lot of really creative stuff that's built off of him on executes.
Same as Zipan though, right? He didn't look that great on the second map.
We haven't seen the best from him at all.
No,
this tournament.
But Zipan go kill. This is the Zipan go kill.
That's the thing. If he hits his peak and so does Trex, we have the best game you'll probably see in the tournament. Like, both of them are incredible Raze players. It's just, I think Trex is much more close to the peak we've seen from him, and Zipan, I don't think, has hit that.
Yes, but also if there's going to be a game where in this series where Zipan rallies back, this is it. They tend to play the Fade here. He's quite enabled. It's, I think, the best map for Raze, and it's the best combination for Raze as well. Maybe this is where we get FPX returning to the olden days of Zipan go kill.
Well, I think in terms of their win versus Xerxia, I think, again, it was Ardis. His KO was actually surprisingly good, because a lot of the time I think of this man, it's always going to be on that chamber, but he was able to take a lot of space, be that second man in, but also do very well in clutch situations. So I think there's a lot to look towards, and we haven't even talking about the Fade duo, which I think could be the most exciting matchup of all, is that Xiao versus Leo. Both have had peaks in this tournament that have been unmatched by pretty much anyone else. So if whoever turns up in this match is going to be the one to win it, and as we've sort of said, I don't think it's down to the map. I think it's down to the players.
Yeah, I mean, this really does feel like between these two teams,
Yeah, it does take a little wind out of my sails kind of coming into this. I'd love to have seen that impact continue forward. However, it's the third and final map. We look what's in front of us, which will be Guild on the attacking side, and of course that then means FPX on the defensive side. And this is do or die. It's elimination time for one of these two teams. And after that last map, a lot of us rekindling that faith in Guild here. And FPX got us worried.
Definitely coming into this one, licking their wounds, need a couple of confident rounds here early on the defensive side. Lots of emphasis towards showers here. Ardis in tandem here with Sugetsu. The early probe from Guild. Now Ardis wants to try and get behind it, but Russ actually finding that one, and Atsi following through. Coldamenta with the frenzy onto Sugetsu. Initially progress towards A here. It's actually going to draw the rotation as Shout. So Angel going to have his hands full here.
This is all on Angel. I mean, yeah, Xiao's so far away, so committed towards that A site. Angel needs 2 at least. All that utility coming in. You can see Xiao now making a mad dash for it, but Angel gets left to his own devices here. Hopefully accounted for if you are considering Guild's approach to this. Where is that spike off to? Yeah, they're very aware of this. Okay. Trying to take the fight towards the backside of CT. Xiao's won the first, needs more though. This has to be some really steep success for FPX, and I feel like Guild are fumbling a little here. They've opened up a chance. 10 seconds, they can't fumble this now. Coldamentor on the drive-by, and Angel makes his appearance. Safe turns it to try and get that spike planted, which he has done, but it is a 2v2.
Overcooking this initially. Actually some key damage coming through. Angel will find Coldamentor up on top here. Safe 51 HP. Tries to find it, but Angel is third on the round. Will close things out, and maybe overthinking things just a little bit from Guild. 20 seconds left in there with Spike pushing through to elbow. Xiao punishes it initially. At that point, with Angel holding on to control inside Hooker, and Guild, rightfully so. I mean, the awareness is there. They didn't want to push in, but ultimately, it's their demise.
It felt like after those first 2 picks coming in, denying all of that progress that was coming through by Shower from Artis and so on, that looked teed up perfectly for Guild, but you're right, maybe overcooking it, overthinking it, just didn't look good for me in that regard. So we have to now kind of maybe pick up a little bit of that pace from that last map for Guild. They need to kind of rekindle and kind of come back in a way that's confident, not overcooking the pot, not overthinking things. Get back to plan, because FPX will take every opportunity you give them. They will not look a gift like that and turn it down. They absolutely know what they've been presented with here. A solid chance.
Trek's going to get something done here with the shorty early on, but initially forced away, so really got the range to be able to put that to use. This Guild will pivot back towards A site. Looking for a ton of damage here. Brilliant utility investment, but Ard is actually finding 2 kills with the fragments. Sugetsu follows up with the snake bite as well.
Lovely.
Close this one right down.
Utility reigning supreme this round, it feels like, but good work there, not being overwhelmed by the amount of pressure that's coming through towards Lamson. That was a lot of potential danger coming their way, but no. Nullified, navigated, and we go into pretty much what is this? It's actually a pretty dangerous round for FPX. They've got a lot of rifles coming out here. 2 rifles, one with Angel, Sugetsu, Guardian in play. I want to see if they've got something in mind here.
This is the purchase behind it as well. Looking pretty comfortable here for FPX. No early ultimate progress here. Angel 1 off the orbital strike. Nothing notable here for FPX, but early information garnered on the back of Xiao. Angel looking to contest. This B long control. See that snake bite set up from short from Russ, but a little off. And he's actually picked off on the back of it. So you get to actually finding him pretty early on in this.
FPX. Some opportunities presenting that I really didn't expect here. Russ going down so early on is a bit of an issue, but the rotations come in, and actually it's given Guild at least a 4v2 towards his site.
Nice.
Make it a 3v2 is already damage now done. I don't know if Zipan got noted on this one. A little bit of spam to give him the illusion that maybe no one's here, but again, Coldamentor still curious. Looking towards the site itself, but they've had no success towards the site just yet. So many targets for Trex. Has to back away.
Find anything ahead of that smoke here, and things will begin to slow down here for Guild. So they find themselves in a 3v5, 30 seconds left, almost looking as if the save pretty likely
30
here.
seconds left.
FPX will convert the bonus, which is a massive boom. Actually, you consider it with what they're potentially saving across here, even just the 3 rifles to bring into the next round for Guild. Try and get something done. I hate to say it, but almost around where, you know, Safe's got a headhunter to work with.
Could have been
Something
different.
like that could offset just a little bit here, but I have to see will not Russ and Safe even have the ability.
There's that free rifle. And actually take down Trex.
And that makes it even more difficult now.
Yes, it
Because
certainly does.
you're faced with the dilemma of forcing up around these rifles, and it's going to be SMGs at best. Coldamentor left with 650, Leo with 350 behind this. actually offsets them in terms of what the next few purchases could look like.
Oh, this certainly puts them in a downward spiral, doesn't it? And Guild are already in a bad spot if you're thinking about it that way.
Well,
Not a good start.
Massive advantage for FPX in terms of this first ult cycle as well.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
They're riding this across with even light shields here once again. They want to set themselves up for a very, very comfortable financial position going forwards.
And Guild need a bit of a miracle, something to bail them out of this scenario that's starting to be presented. Zipan almost got caught on the timing there, but does get to keep his life and peel away.
So he gets to at least early on in this map here, acting as a deterrent towards this default from Guild. Dealing with Russ previously. Can't really criticize him for the way that he fell, but 3 members stacked up behind this now for Guild. So Getsu almost has the advantage here in terms of the toxin. He's got another freebie.
That's a shocker.
Great pressure here created, but Trex actually answers back.
Okay, now there's a window of chance for them to maybe get towards the site itself. Ult comes in, doesn't really find as much, but it's actually Trex to punish Angel on this. Artist now could be overwhelmed, but no, Artist holds strong. Flash comes out and Trex trades it, and the damage gets pushed towards Xiao, actually pushed down very low, 9 HP. They need the spike planted, and they need Copenhagen to be a safe pair of hands, and he's not. Let's just slip between his fingertips. Trex needs to run and get the hell out of there.
Just have the showstopper to work with. Both members of FPX stacked up towards spawn here. Trex does prioritize the plant.
To get away without taking damage. No, he doesn't, Zipan. He was forced out into the open, and FPX are manipulating every aspect of this game right now, and Guild cannot get on the board.
And this is around the Guild actually get more done than you're expecting here in terms of that final rifle being removed. Only 2 brought across into this. Certainly made it interesting. FPX weather the storm. Yeah, I mean, initially that offset from the purchase not going to be too much of a problem. Coldamenta sat at 3,800, but another first blood found by Sugetsu. And another freebie, actually. Artist has done so well.
To get 2 out of that.
Absolutely.
Wow. Balancing the books a little in that round, because I really thought that was looking so dangerous to Guild after that nice little pickup that they got and sprung forward. Now, timeout comes in for Guild, and I feel like rightly so. They need to get a grip on this game because it is falling away from them in some quite bizarre ways. The amount of just freebies Sugetsu's getting through smokes and utility. But again, the value's there. And a couple of fumbles, a couple of over the things. Guild still inexperienced, right? Like, they're still a team that's relatively new to this. This is still one of their first debuts. We're starting to see the deeper teams within EMEA, right? This is arguably what everyone was saying was the most competitive showing from the region. I think that's a fair assessment. FPX and Guild certainly fall within that. But again, they're so new to these stages. A couple of those mistakes starting to show.
You come into this with Trex on the showstopper. An opportunity here to switch things up because it's been that expected slow approach here from Guild on their attacking half. As you see, when FPX actually decide to go exploring a little bit, you're seeing Artist now actually considering the possibility of the operator. I think he's going to settle for the Vandal here. Toying with the idea at least. The Viper's pick going to go up towards Hookah. I guess it will be noted, but I mean, they have to effectively shift walk through this Viper's pit, soak up all that decay to even challenge him. And Russ with that supportive utility all the way from Market. They'll force something out, but they don't really gain anything on the back of that. Maybe just to try and force Angel out of position, but no notable damage done.
Invested utility potentially to try and isolate anyone who would have taken up the mantle of where Sugetsu would have been, but we know where they are, sitting a little bit deeper towards the backside of sight. Trex going to take those first brave steps forward. Doesn't quite see anyone just yet. Certainly enough audio cues to let you know there's someone just around that corner, and Zipan's been laying in wait. It's Russ to fall first, but that might be the spike thing going down. No, still held them off long enough. Xiao proving to be an issue as well. There's the push out though. Zipan taking matters into his own hands. Pain Shell comes in, Leo's in danger. The spam! He doesn't get to keep his life. Leo goes down for it. Xiao the second line to it. As Coldamenta in the 1v4. This is a shutdown and a half from
30
FPX.
seconds left.
Cole now faced with a 1v4. Or just to try and hold on to this, 20 seconds left. At this point, damage doesn't even matter. Guild losing out in probably the most important round so far. It's going to put them massively behind now. And this is the one that FPX invested into in terms of the ultimates. Angel going to come forward, try and cycle some of this back. The round's all but done. Can come through and try and hunt this at least, but we have a massive knock-on effect here. Guild really struggling to get anything going. FPX looking solid in terms of some of these holds. A couple of weird overextensions. Russ, I mean, drifted solo towards here. Trex completely unaware of the possibility some of these could re-aggress back out of lamps. Leo just caught with a tag, actually slows him down, getting away from that paint shell. Wow, what a contrast. You would have thought Guild would have come into this with a real swagger in their step, considering the map 2 performance. It's just not a lot there.
It sounds silly, but I still feel those first couple of rounds were so telling of potentially what could have gone wrong, and a window of chance made here for FPX for the pace change coming in. Trex going to try and maybe pick the pace up a little here, but it is only a stinger, so again, how much can you get done with that thing? Well, Golden meant to show what you can get done with that. Angel and Sugetsu go down. First time they've really had a clean entry. Yeah, the Seeker's coming through as well. Artist still tucked on the side, not like he's unnoted, but he's still going to get away with one. Trex fallen and Leo there to overwhelm with safe. Even just shout. No, he's been over towards LA site, so Spike should be going down uncontested here.
Fine.
Go for maybe a little bit of damage. I mean, a couple of these players did force up. Obviously, a couple more trying to save some of these credits across. I think Xiao's really going to entertain it, but finally, I mean, it feels like brute force and ignorance that Guild are rewarded with this round, and maybe a slight overstep. FPX happy to stand a little closer with how slow Guild have been playing, so the pace change catches them off guard. Colomentor actually follows up perfectly on the Trailblazer to find the 2. This isn't one that Guild necessarily come away from and go, yeah, okay, that's what we've got to do, guys. It's not really possible to replicate this time and time again.
But it gives them at least a little bit of room to work, because they have been shut down so categorically in these rounds. Fumbly sort of mistakes being made. Let's see if anyone pulls. Shao. Probably not anywhere near anyone at this point. They've all fallen back. So one recovered from Guild. And it's off the back of this. Let's have a little look at this one. Pretty free for Coldamenta there.
Actually, the reveal coming through at the perfect time from Leo. But yeah, numerically, it's not looking. I mean, Leo sitting at the bottom of the scoreboard for Guild is something you very rarely see. Russ able to get much going here after. Actually, credit to him, had a fantastic performance on Breeze individually. At least mechanically, there's been some of the concerns raised around him. He looked very sharp on map 2. Obviously playing a very different role this time around on the Viper. And immediately, like I said, it's around the Guild resort back to this very, very slow approach in the default.
It's not filling me with confidence, if I'm honest, Mike.
There's so little pressure here at the start of the round that...
Yep.
And FPX are the ones to really benefit on the back of this slower gameplay, I feel.
Oh, FPX love it. Kings of the clock, right? They'll run this down anytime you can. Sometimes we'll say Na'Vi style round. I don't think they're going to be upset by it. Happy to be patient. Rodamenta's starting to lose a little bit of that cool though. Wants in, wants to get the job going. 50 seconds on the board. They've built up a little bit of a portfolio towards this B site now. Do they have much more to work with? Divide goes in. Shao. There it is. Right back through this. Has a full idea as to what's going on to an extent. Zipan, though, does not expect that. Safe waiting on the other side. That's going to be an untradeable kill here. A 5v4. And they are waiting to burst through on this potential. I want to see what Shao does with this. He's having to play patient, actually. They've invested everything into it. And on the drop, they all make their debut. Artist finds 2 kills. It ain't over yet. It's still a 3v3, and the plant's still not in. Leo's there to try and hold this safe. And Sugetsu and Angel
Spike planted.
still trying to work their way around any vulnerabilities to be found here. Angel's found one, and it's a 1 to be found. Oh, the turn! Angel fumbles it on the knife out, but it's Sugetsu up against safe. And there's the peak. Sugetsu's there, and Guild invested everything they could into that. And they walk away with nothing.
So it's just another round that Guild aren't able to say, right, guys, that's the approach for the next few. get themselves into a round-winning position, especially with the Viper's Pit, but Ardis goes huge to find 2. Angel able to slip the net on the back of Ardis, creating that pressure. This is initially here. I mean, the blind spray in. And this is what Angel's able to do on the back of it. Once the Viper's Pit falls, Angel actually finds a beautiful second kill. Like you said, caught off guard here with the knife, but that's a heartbreaking round to lose.
Yeah.
Especially when they're walking a tightrope in terms of the economy. Yes, they string together this purchase, but again, coming into round 9, it's not going to be pretty if FPX find their 7th here.
It's, in my mind, genuinely it's now or never. If Guild can't wake up in these next moments, this is FPX's. And for FPX to show this resilience after an absolute slap around in map 2, it's credit to them. Zipan, again, up for the fight. 2 on the other side.
Well, the showstopper to slow this down, though. If Trex or Leo decide to try and force the issue.
Okay.
Yeah, they're so cautious to follow through on some of this utility. It's only Zipan holding them back right now. Smoke goes up and Hookah control firmly back in the hands of Zipan.
Where's the bravado of map 2? Where's the confidence? Where's those individuals powering forward for Guild? That's not bad for us. Does he expect the trade? No, Ardis is there, instantly nullified, and they still have 2 players on this A site. So they're heading on over here. They're doing everything to try and draw that attention. Actually, good timing for Safe. Catching Shout. Angel O going to try and buy time. Does do well. He's to isolate 1. Trex to find Ardis, and Angel overwhelmed. Suddenly, it's not looking so bad, but Zipan a mile away. A 1v3. This is surely 2 for Guild.
Spike planted.
Yeah, retreats to pick up the flank control here, and very, very deep post-plant positions. Zipan down to 72 HP. Does have the showstopper, 1 kill, he'll have another paint shell. He's here in plenty of time, but you can see here the gravity well already set up. He's got to make a move fast.
No one giving him early fights. As you highlighted, sitting super deep. Maybe first contact would be Leo on this potentially if he commits around the corner, or Trex could be the one. And Zipan's getting nothing. This is good. This is a good post plan from Guild. They need, in my mind, 3 alive and the round itself. Zipan, yep. Cuts the losses, looks for a way out here. Not going to happen, but again, for Guild, a necessary round, a critical round, and I still feel it has to be clean from now on, Mike.
Yeah, critical. I mean, FPX is still on 6. Let's not take anything away from that, but this was the round that was going to put Guild in a complete stranglehold in terms of the economy. Trex done well to find the first out to the paint shell sent forwards. And another interesting use of the orbital strike here. Very, very ahead of this hit and pretty deep towards short from Angel. FPX will call a timeout here, maybe just to take a breather. Majority of these rounds not really breaking a sweat, to be honest with you.
And they still have a timeout in the second half if they need it. Why not call it now, right? Try and take that momentum away from Guild, try and come up with maybe figuring out if there's anything that they found could be exploited. I think for now, though, when we talk about repeatable success, we haven't seen a lot of that from Guild yet, and it's still quite hot and cold as to if they can keep doing this or what they've found themselves here.
There's going to be any switch up on the side of FPX on the back of this. They're almost waiting for it. There's space there that Guild are conceding. Like I said, they're happy to sit in this very deep forwards. Very static position that they're picking up. And like I said, on the back of the snakebite investment, it's very rare there's anybody actually following through on that. And the one time it has been Coldamenta, which is the one that, particularly on the Astro, we know what his role is going to be. It's the backline, it's the chess master.
Tense moment now. What's the money like and ult's like? Okay, so Leo's got his, Safe's got his ult. Money's enough to fashion a buy. And, well, FPX aren't out of cash yet. They're still sitting enough there to bring up something this round. You kept saying it, Zipan's still got that ult. Artist there as well. They've got options. Curious what comes out now for Guild. They need to string a couple together here because FPX have carved away a good lead. This is very, very solid for them. And oh, the double swing. That's the difference. Maybe figuring out Sugetsu has been consistently in that spot, consistently a problem. And instantly Zipan ready to fill the gap.
Just so hesitant to push on the back of this first button.
Where's the take?
Yeah, where's the second leg to this? They're now hoping that they're going to have a favourable timing here and drawn a rotation enough, but Coldamenta with no progress towards B long. Xiao and Arda still tucked up here. Now the snakebite comes through. Force Xiao back a little bit. but no follow-up.
You're right. Not making the most of that first pick. Trex though going to unleash, heads on in, spots one, but he's flashed! Oh, it's a mistake, it's a fumble! FPX holding onto this with both hands! And again, you said it before, and it's becoming so apparent. Guild letting this one slip.
I mean, they find a massive opportunity here, but it's just they're playing so cautiously. They're so terrified of what sits behind this first blood. Like I said, it's not a guarantee that they find a site access there, but it's just, you can see this fumbling, scrambling for a decision to be made. Like I said, they don't benefit the timing here on the rotation whatsoever. With no pressure on towards being long, especially nobody following up on that snake bite, it just forces Xiao into a position to reset. And then they win out. They pick them off one by one.
I don't know what's happened to Guild. Where is the team that we just saw on Breeze? Where have they gone, and who is this taking their place, who look sheepish and second-guessing everything they do? I don't like it at all. Now the money's been broken, they're back down to nothing. Sheriff's odds and ends, and you didn't have to make this comfortable for FPX. That's the thing. FPX will try and do that themselves anyway, but I feel like they've had a very comfortable run this time in comparison to what it could be. And again, Guild look for option, look for starting. Looks like A will be where they try and bring something towards this time.
Poison orb emitting.
So we're seeing some focus towards showers here. Sugetsu spots one. Will likely back away here. Allow this hit to come through. And Trex is safe for so low HP that can't really force their way up short here.
Time to stabilize Guild, need to burst onto this. Sugetsu making light work of safe. They backed away again. Doubling down, might catch.
30
I wonder if
seconds
they
left.
catch a bit of timing. Trex.
Angel's going to line them up here.
It's not pretty, but you're absolutely right. Oh, there it is. Absolutely lines him up, knocks him down. 1 HP is all he needed left over.
Gun here.
And this is a very underwhelming final map.
It really is. Guild coming to round 11 with... I mean, they can't even really be frugal in this purchase.
No.
Obviously,
Don't have that luxury anymore.
we know exactly what's going to happen for the final purchase, but... Yeah, I mean, there's light shields, there's a Bulldog in the hands of Safe. Trex will have the showstopper, at least regardless of outcome here for the final round. Leo's still sitting on that ultimate, but still sitting at the bottom of the board. Unable to really have any individual impact.
Which is so rare.
It is. It is.
Here.
And now FPX getting a little invested. Artist going walkabouts. Actually gets handled this time. Safe though turns a flash and he gets back to business. Angel forced to invest the smoke and try and stop the hemorrhage that could have been forming. Molly goes down as well. And Angel needs to be careful here.
Noted, but Zipat actually with the TP crunch going to find Russ. Angel still standing, but not for long. Safe deals with him. Trex on the crossover. Xiao still good for it.
And it feels so segmented, one by one. There's no compounding pressure. Zipan and Sugetsu, what can you do with it? Let's see, Safe and Cordamenta over towards long. TP gets taken. Safe not too far behind. You can see who's on the run here.
Got it blocking vision.
Zipan running as fast he can to become relevant to the outcome of this round. It's going to be a fight between him and Safe seems very aware of the chance of this. Who gets the peek first? Who gets the shot? It's Zipan! Safe's going to be kicking himself for it. And now Cordamenta, the in-game leader of the squad.
One enemy remaining.
And not too bad on the mechanics either. Sugetsu, why not? Invests the ult, makes it harder work. Draws out the utility. Has to force the hand of Cordamenta.
Sugetsu drops the ult immediately. Tries to bait it out. Yeah, Cordamenta finds the second though. The Red Bull clutch to find Guild's third.
And I've got to say, Cordamenta feels like the only one for me who's actually delivering. That first, I think it was one of the first rounds, that double that he got actually opened up space. This as well. We need others. Where are the rest of the squad? Some critical kills for the man, some key kills. Where the rest? Where is the rest of Guild? Now again, if it ends, what? One more round? I mean, sure. It's not completely unredeemable, but it's the fashion in which we got here, Mike.
So you're expecting Trex to finally make use of this showstopper now. A judge in hand. Cosmic Divide up. Then do scrape together a purchase, but again, it's a Bulldog in there. A couple of light shields. You'll feel as if they found some success towards A. And stacked up this time, invested in the early round.
Sugetsu gets a fight on it. Overwhelmed, Coldamenta cracks open the site, and there is that ult. Didn't get to send it out in the end. Artist gets to keep his life. Flash comes in, he's going to have to sit tucked towards the back of it. Safe going to take the fight towards CT and wins it. Good work from Safe this round. But it is still two standing, Zipan and Xiao. But bear in mind how far away Zipan is to this. Spike not down yet. Giving room and time for Zipan to close this gap.
Still a million miles away from this. Xiao can just do a little chip damage, maybe prevent the spike from going down. Definitely still doable here in the 2v3. Guild huddled together.
Toxins going up.
Waiting for that cooldown on the toxin to try and find the plant behind this. Actually, they don't. There's almost anticipating a peak coming through.
Well, careful what you wish for. Zipan's getting real close.
Good utility as well from Zipan.
And that's a fight. That's a clean fight, and now it's a 2v2. Again, I'm a little worried about Guild and his post-plant. His options for Zipan, and his destruction for Guild.
Oh my god.
Zipan has torn him limb from limb. That is just going to destroy Guild's mental.
I mean, it was a 2v3, but Zipan literally 1v3s them. Just one by one lining them up. So well played by him. Great use of the stats as well, just to make that last engagement a little bit more difficult and favorable for him. Beautiful stuff from Zipan.
One enemy remaining.
See it there. Last one just nudges Russ a little further back. It'll be 9-3 on the half, Lauren.
Barbar knows he's got his work cut out now if he wants to try and bring this back. As do the rest of Guild. This has been a very rough half for them. It has not looked good. It's not over, but it might be soon. Back to the desk. You're right. They do have to dig deep now. This is a tough task for Guild, and it actually might be out of the realms of possibility. However, what this is for FPX, though, is the first look at the full squad making it out and looking pretty diligent, turning it around after a disastrous map, too. They've looked strong here, but Mike, we go back in. Surely it has to start now for Guild if you want to see a close game.
He's going to find two. Angel finds the opening here. The pinch through the TP. Safe. Good for the first, but tagged down to 34 HP. FPX happy now to progress through. Actually, I'm going to play the TP here. Try and find some advantageous timing. Russ actually stands his ground, but Artist trades it out.
Okay, and the spike's on the way, but Coldamenta's been here the entire time, tucked towards long, trying to give away nothing. Rotation from Leo as well. He needs to become a little activated here, Leo, in my mind. Coldamenta, does he get the timing just right? No, outdone by Zipan. Beautiful work. Another site looks available. Leo gets the tag, but not the frag. Artist makes it towards the site. Swing! It's great timing, but left in the open. Left in the lurch, though, is safe in a 1v2. So get to full HP, sitting pretty. Yeah, Artist a little vulnerable, but that crossfire now set in motion.
Artist is going to tuck himself in, looking to take contact on the drop here. Safe going to try and make use of that first flash, jumps out, but it's actually Artist to even find it. FPX close the pistol round, close their 10th. If they weren't already feeling it, Guild now under massive amounts of pressure to deliver.
Pressure's on, Guild. Gotta do something about this. If it gets... It feels like 11's inevitable, right? Like, you get this one, the follow-up's looking super likely. We know that FPX don't go lightly into these rounds either. They're starting to have fun. Picking up that pistol takes so much weight off of even FPX. They're like, cool, right, now we're in the right mood here. We're getting everything right.
Which is why we see Guild try and just be decisive there. They try to be the initiators in that round with that TP crunch, but again, it comes back to that thing, the synergy just slightly off in terms of the pinch. Trek's over-investing in that peak, and I mean, whether or not it's safe behind the pace or Trek's a little ahead of it. Come around, FPX now can and slowly work their way in. The paint shell going to force the shorty a little deeper inside, and actually Zipan still finds it.
Really nice from Zipan. Getting to see that capability from him as an individual this game. Artist as well, all kicking off at the right time for themselves. Coldamenta, yeah, going to get one. There's the rifle in a bad spot here, but dealt with by the nade. It's 11, and it's quick so far.
Oh, can they make a last stand here? Guild obviously coming to this buy round here. No real ultimate progress for anybody. And we'll call a timeout here because, I mean, this is the map and series.
Yep.
With what the knock-on effect's going to be. A long way back into this map. Like I said, there's been so few positives to take away from that attack in half as well that, I mean, coordinating any sort of proactivity here on the defense, it kind of lies into the same sort of concerns that we had.
It'd almost be a shame to see them go out as a shadow of their former selves, it looks like. Coaches got their work cut out on either side to an extent. Barbar had to kind of get their mental back in the right place. And for the Guild side, it's... Excuse me, for the FPX side, it's not that difficult right now. Just going to keep them focused, going through the motions here. They've done everything right. The prep is good. I was worried after map 2 that they'd be taking it personally or, you know, being a little frustrated, but no, they were kept in the right direction.
That's where someone like Angel is just such a cornerstone for the team to come through. Again, even with an abysmal performance in map 2, he's a very grounding factor in terms of the communication, that in-game leadership. Was it to compliment Doom Bros? It's paying off for them here.
Oh yeah.
To flip back here in map 3.
In this
the way they
fashion
have,
as well.
yeah, exactly. It's the nature of how they're winning here on Bind.
And if it was the
total composure.
That's the thing. And I wouldn't have been surprised if FPX were the sheepish one after map 2. Hard to maybe pick up that confidence, but it's not. It's the complete reverse. So we go in now, and this is one of the rounds that can define so much. It's 11-3. If Guild get this, it's game back on. If not, it's looking pretty done. However, we start, as we mean to go on Angel, a little further ahead than expected as well. And they're just running through this one. Safe's going to find Artis. He's going to at least deny that front line. Angel with a quick trade and a flying player. Zipan makes it towards the site. It's called a Menta, who's still finding room to work. 1 HP and Zipan's there. Needs to bring out, and he does. Oh, Zipan!
What is that?
Phenomenal!
Hits him with the Spectre Cheese, the drive-by. That's how Guild lose out in this round. And the cherry on top, the jumping classic. Well, the Cold Mentor, I think down to just 1 HP.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's Heartbreak slowed down right there. That is the round done, and he knows it. He knows it. It's 12-3, and this is tournament life, Mike. This is the one. This is all it comes down to. This is all that hard work leads up to. One more round.
Jack's got himself tucked up. In very close contact with this judge, FPX. Now the wind in their sails. Anticipating a little bit of aggression early on here. It's a 4-man stack for Guild towards A site. Safe. We're on information gathering duties outside hookah. Shao will deal the Trailblazer. We'll actually pull a rotation here from Leo. Rightfully so, but FPX have done the hard work here. They've actually got themselves an advantageous fight towards A. It looks like Guild might even push through here.
So dangerous, so precarious. Zipan sees one. He's got to feel like there's maybe more. Oh, Trex brings it back down to earth, but he needs more than this. This is so dangerous, so scary for him right now. This is nerves aplenty! Rising to the challenge, but the trades come out. Russ backs him up in it, and now Artis tries to make a run. A lifeline found, and it's only one in a need of so many.
See what the knock-on effect here, FPX. Actually, a couple of people forcing up. Yes, the ultimates are just about getting there, but with Showstopper used up in the previous by Zipan, he's so unlucky not to find Trex here behind the box. Russ plays it perfectly on the timing. Rewarded with 2 kills, but yeah, you can see it's a little flat.
Feels like
in terms of the spirit there up on stage.
You got to get the boys back up in this. I know it feels almost redundant, but it really isn't over till it's over when it comes to these final maps. But it has to. It's a long road. It really is a long road. Cold Mentor doing well though. Catch Angel. Keep your eyes on the rifle with Zipan. First challenge would be Russ. Doesn't quite win that one out, and Russ still gets to hold on for this. Chain shell could have been a problem. Takes a little bit of damage, but keeps his life.
So with vulnerability as well. Artis just digs back in to find the headshot.
Fundamental's in no man's land. This makes me a little nervous here. Does get to dip away before the flash really blooms. Trex by his side. Picking up one behind, swing back in. It's messy. And this is a 3v2, and they've got rifles. Mike, I don't like this. Getting fumbly in these moments now. Don't get too worried yet. Safe is en route. The Seeker's kind of, you know,
gives away the flank, though, almost.
Exactly. Surely you're starting to question that. There's got to be that, little bit of the clock in the back of your mind. Now wondering what's going on. And Artisan to get to are dangerous players. Look how deep Guild are now sitting.
Yeah, they got to respect this. Also, then have to have the secondary consideration, which is the finances. They need to build up that cushion to be able to have a say in this half. Happy to wait out the plant, though.
Can't make mistakes here. And there's a potential for it. So we get to clearing sight, spots no one.
Toxin screen down.
The plant now has to become a priority. 10 seconds, Mike. It's got to be now.
10 seconds left.
Safe to be whether or not you can actually time this perfectly.
That's the question, isn't it, Ardis? Ooh, nice little jump peek there from Leo. Gonna at least know the position and not give up his life. Plays in safe a little, but Sugetsu seems aware. And away we go. Oh no! The tragedy! It's falling to pieces! The full 5 at full force. FPX stay alive at a 13-4 scoreline. Guild crumble under the pressure.
What a flip here. What a heartbreak for this to be the end of Guild's run. They made a real splash here in Copenhagen, but almost feel like they just run out of steam a little bit here. What a first showing for Sugetsu. Again, not necessarily statistically reflected the same way as we see online, but the impact in some of these rounds. Think back to that final round of Ascent, going absolutely huge. And just think actually completely different outcome here. If Guild were able to win out Ascent with that performance on Breeze,
very different outcome potentially. The difference that one man made could be a historic round for them. You've got to give credit where it's due. Coldman to put up a good fight there. Tried the best he could, and to me, will always be a bit of a kingmaker. Every roster he touches turns to gold, but this time couldn't quite make it past FPX, who had that buff of their new player coming back in, getting, playing right beside each other, what they've wanted this entire time. And a little bit bittersweet for me seeing Guild go out in this fashion, really I think is the main thing. They could have lost this game any which way, that's not the problem. Seeing them kind of bow down at the end there and just kind of crumble under the weight of FPX, really a bit unfortunate.
We get a little comparison there for the previous two cam, but like I said, just a heartbreaking end. Well, what a way for FPX to deliver. With that map 2 performance, you got to say, like I said, this flipped the veto on his head for me. Guild have been able to demonstrate here, at least put their name on the global map, which was the main objective for them, right? They were probably the roster that had so many questions coming into it.
Yep.
It really started with a splash, and I got to come back to the same thing. It feels like they ran out of steam just a little bit.
And maybe with time, experience, you get to see that depth come through. It's good to see them back, as they were meant to be. All 5 of them standing beside each other, coach as well, of course. Firing it out. And this could be a whole new team, a whole new look at this squad coming in. Now they've got Sugetsu back with them. Finally making it here to Copenhagen.
And a bit of breathing space as well now to kind of reset. Yes, we're talking about comfort zones at the start of this series and get back into shape. Again, don't think that now that obviously with Silas slipping away, Sugetsu coming back in at full strength, Angel returning back to comfort zone, who's somebody, for me today, looked a little uncharacteristic in some scenarios, right? So that's a big positive for FPX leading forward further into the event.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen the best of Angel yet here. I think we've actually seen a very shaky Angel, which...
But that pressure's now alleviated. He hasn't got to consider that massive variable in some of the structure and the FPX are renowned for.
No, you're absolutely right. So I want to see with a little bit of time as well. These boys have been absolutely in the grueling schedules. You're working it out on the go. Down below, your MVP vote. Let us know your thoughts. Who stood out to you? Of course, you have your selection. Anyone for you there?
He'll always take it from me. It's the UK bias. It's the UK bias.
I'll double down with you. That's fine. I mean, Sugetsu maybe saved the entire series, but
happy birthday. There you go.
Vote for Ardis.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Sugetsu. Ardis MVP. But no, you're right. It could kind of go a couple of different ways, but the map pool definitely gets thrown into question in my mind a little bit. We go forward looking at FPX because, again, vetoes do become such a deadly thing here for these teams. So for me, there's a lot more to be seen from FPX, but I don't know. I'm happy to see them at their full capability, Mike.
Yeah, I'm keen to see them build back on this. Get Sugetsu back firing on all cylinders.
Well, it's been a pleasure to get to welcome them, as said, as the full collective to the stage. And a little sad to see Guild go, but again, it's not for us to truly wrap this series up. That'll be for the desk after the break.
This is EMEA versus EMEA with elimination on the line, a spot, a champions also on the line. It could potentially be absolutely brutal for the losing team.
What's love got to do with,
Maybe just whoa! Sugetsu, what is that? It's so dangerous, Artist. Brutish in approach. Does do it, and you gotta say it. Thank God for Sugetsu in that round.
What's love but a second-hand emotion?
Artist, please. Yes!
This is clean stuff from Guild. Coldamenta! He's just about held this. Coldamenta on the reposition, the time's on his side, and the shot's there. It's 13-3, and it's shut down. Guild letting this one slip.
Nice, boys, nice.
One enemy remaining.
Zipan has torn him limb from limb. That is just going to destroy Guild's mental. Oh, Zipan! FPX stay alive at a 13-4 scoreline. Guild crumble under the pressure.
And that was the Prime Gaming post-match highlights. I'm Yingsu, I'm back on the desk with Mimi and Tom. As Pansy said, FPX, they stay alive for another day, but it wasn't really the bind that we expected to see in the end.
No, I think that especially with both teams having vulnerabilities, we said it would come down to the individuals, and boy, did it come down to the individuals. So some ridiculous plays out the side of FPX.
Yeah, some crazy moments from FPX. But on the side of Guild, this map, it was the exact opposite of Breeze. It felt like, again, it was just the deflation. You only have so much air between the two teams. And in this one, it's not really being given on over to Guild. I didn't really love the comp they brought into this one. I would have loved to see Safe have an opportunity to opt and maybe play that chamber. He didn't do bad by any regard, but I don't know if I loved what they were pulling out on this one. And on top of all that, FPX was just playing an incredible game. Artist on this KO was, I mean, as an individual, just absurd. And Zipan as well, what a step up from him.
Yeah, let's talk about Zipan, because some of these rounds, you talk about individuals, and this is what we want to see from someone like Zipan.
Yeah, it was the perfect time for him to peak. And I think so far in this tournament, this is the best performance we've seen from him. And then that's the thing with Zipan. Once he gets in that zone of confidence, he is terrifying.
His micro on Raze is just so good. The way he uses the satchels to bonk people out of the way, get the kill off of that is just incredible. Also, I don't know what that was. I don't think that should have been allowed, which is the run and gun off the Spectre, but look at that improvement. Game 1 starts hot, or excuse me, I think this is inverse. So Game 3 is Game 1, and that one he started pretty well. Game 2, a little bit rough, but once he got things down to that Raze, he was just farming.
Well, it's where he's always been his best. I think that is why I kind of want to look at even Artis a little bit here, because Artis, I think coming into like Valorant in general, we were like, he's the Jet one trick. He was probably one of the best that we had. Then moved over to a Sova. He was pretty good at that at all. And then he just went missing for a long, long time. Now he's come back with Chamber being meta. He's unreal, but there's depth. And that's the thing that's so great about Artis is his KO is disgusting as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is an incredible role for him. It feels like no matter what he plays, this guy is doing well. On top of that, it was a great game to welcome Sugetsu back into FPX. He had a fantastic map number 1, maybe struggled a little bit more in the second, but map 3, again, that rally back, it really is a beauty to finally see FPX back at their full strength.
I mean, they've been selling that to us, haven't they? They're like, this is the real FPX. I'm sold. I'm buying all the stocks right now. And on the bigger picture, more importantly, that win from FPX has officially locked them and Fnatic to champions, and I firmly believe these are the two best EMEA teams that we had this year.
Well, the most exciting thing is it's the first time we'll have a champion's hometown hero, which I think that's the coolest thing ever, is having a storyline based around this Turkish youngster of Alpha here. Still an opportunity for another to come through, like maybe if Send can sneak their way into that LCQ.
BBL.
Or BBL.
If BBL gets the champions?
I think Send might be a little bit more realistic. But sure, if BBL can do it, that would be insane.
It would be crazy if that could actually come to fruition. But, I mean, Fnatic, I think they are in the conversation for the best team in the world. Obviously, they still have to prove it at this tournament, but they were looking incredible. And obviously, FPX back at full strength. I'm super excited to not only watch them for the rest of this tournament, but in towards champs.
Also, Guild fans, don't worry. Guild will be playing LCQ, so there is a chance we might see them on the international stage again. But for now, let's take a look at the in-zone player of the match. You guys voted on on Twitter, and this time it goes to Soigetsu. I'm a little bit surprised Zipan didn't get that one.
I don't know if he was the MVP in terms of the individual performance, but he was the MVP in our hearts.
Well,
also, he showed up and he got to play.
I don't know. There was only one close map, and it was decided by him.
It
so
was.
I don't know. The other two maps were absolutely dominant. So I guess maybe people were just thinking, you know what? He won them the game by winning that round.
I also will say that I think that there's one of the stats that Soigetsu actually got 7 out of the 8 MVP votes during the regular season of EMEA.
That's decent.
So maybe he just has a really big fan base.
He's really good at the MVP votes. But, I mean, you do have to give the credit to him, because that very easily could have been a 2-0 for Guild. Breeze was a stomp. It was 13-11. That clutch doesn't come through. Maybe Guild are the ones moving on, but FPX, they rally, they win it.
Yeah, Zipan also the man of the hour after that map. He is standing by right now with Esports Doug in the Verizon post-match interview.
Thank you so much, Sue. Yes, Zipan, congratulations on the win. It was a big one. I've got to ask you right off the bat, you just take down Guild, a little inter-region rivalry. Does that ever feel bad to you? Do you feel bad that you just sent them home?
Yeah, a bit, because it's an EMEA team, right? So I would rather send home an NA team, if I'm going to be honest.
I got to ask you about Yoru on Breeze. Artis and I were chatting earlier in the tournament. He said he really likes it. He rates it. It feels like it plays well. To be candid with you, it did not look good. What happened? What do you feel like went wrong on that map?
I think now that we got Sugetsu back, Guild kind of expected us to pick Euro. And yeah, we are comfortable on that agent. We rated highly on Breeze. We won Ascend like twice with this comp. So, but I think Guild anti-stratted it really hard. And with the Cypher especially, they counter us.
Do you think that perhaps against a different region, even a team that has not really seen it as much, you would find more success there, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe, but I think other regions can still watch the VODs, you know, they can still anti-strat us. But yeah, I think just the Cypher really countered the Euro.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to ask you about the team's personality, because you've got Sugetsu with the loudest pants I think I've ever seen. I kind of want them, I'm not going to lie. You've got Artis who's singing during the match, and you go, Artis, please. Tell me a bit about the personality behind the scenes. What is it that makes this team so fun?
I think we like to joke with each other to keep the mood high in the team, so it's just like that. Artis has a really funny personality, so it's fun to joke with him, tilt him a bit maybe, but he knows his jokes, so...
And then the last question I have for you, now that Sugetsu has rejoined the team, how do you feel like this team has gotten better from one day to the next? What is it that he brings to this team that makes FPX so formidable?
Yeah, now that we have Sugetsu back, as you say, we can follow our game plan, like all the strats, everything that we couldn't with Cider, because obviously he doesn't know them. So, so now that we have Sugetsu, we can use all the strats, we have all the waypoints, all the stuff, and our flexibility. Before we couldn't use a Sentinel like Cypher, Killjoy and stuff, but now yeah, Sugetsu can play them.
Congratulations on the win. Congratulations on qualifying for Champions. You guys look terrifying, and I'm excited to see how else you guys perform in the tournament. That's going to do it for us here. The good news is there is still more Valorant to come. You've got Leviathan against XSET, everything on the line, one match to decide it all, and it's happening right on the other side of this break.